Serious. Let's go.
Ooh. Oh,
Ooh.
that's the change. Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Second time's
even.
the charm. Had to scream out that same word twice, but yep, here we are. Welcome back in, you guys. One Piece chapter 1177. We are joined again by the one, the only, the legendary Par Vision. And brother, what do you think about that cover page? Pretty good stuff, right?
Oh, yeah, that's a Dak Sake special, actually.
Yeah. I bet he got like a good laugh out of that one because he does have a very popular mole theory. And here we have it, Robin with a
Yeah.
bunch of moles. Kind of interesting.
I even added to it a little bit as far as the cover story, in the sense that, like, you see the structure of those flowers. They got three realms. They got that lower realm, and
Ooh,
then they got that sun realm, and they even got the heaven realm. It's right there.
it's all right there. Yeah. When I saw this cover page, I did think of Dak Sake, like unironically. I was like, yeah, it's that's him right
Yeah.
there. So yeah,
And these
shouts to
last
him.
few cover stories, yeah, the last few cover stories have been, or like, there was a few interesting ones, like Bon Clay showed up, and
Yeah.
then the one after that, and we are kind of like, you know, is this gonna play a role in the story coming up? Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. But Bon Clay was the highlight, I think, of like, oh, this is definitely something Oda's like prepping us for a little
Yeah.
bit, in some
Oh,
sense.
because the other one, it had the three-pointed crown like Emu. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's why.
That one too, yeah, yeah,
Yeah. It's
yeah,
always so hard. It's
that
like,
part.
we can look at all of these, find so much meaning, but only in retrospect can we go back and like, okay, that actually meant something. And then these other ones are just trash. It's just these other ones, like maybe there's like a hint here or there, but we'll never really know, like unless it's direct. But yeah,
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, yeah. Other than that, nothing too crazy. I guess it's like on Elbaf though. Is that Elbaf architecture?
Maybe.
It's a
Or
little
like a
small.
giant adjacent person made it. Like what if a guy just
Yeah,
really
yeah.
loved wooden architecture and he's like, you know what? Let's make it fantastical.
Well, yeah, we can say for certain this is not a Minatomo special.
Yeah, it's not Japanese.
Yeah,
Konnichiwa. It's not like that.
yeah. It might be his cousin, Giant Tomo, Mina Giant Tomo, something.
Mini
You,
giant Tomo.
yeah, that's
Yeah. Wait, okay.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Didn't the mole people just build that house though? Like, let's be real. Like, we see mole people here. Maybe that's their house.
Don't see they're landscapers. Okay, I don't know if they're carpenters too.
Also, like, isn't this like a mole person shaped house? Like, maybe it could be perspective, but it looks like it's a really small door. Like, Robin would not fit through that.
That's true. She is crouched down. You know, I was looking at this trying to find deeper meaning, and I was like, guys, what if that fence is red? And then how many people do you think is gonna be like, oh my god, it's supposed to resemble the red line, and they're planting the islands across the Grand Line
Oh,
because you see
man.
the wooden like blockade.
Oh,
And I was just
Jesus.
like,
This is where we're
dang.
at, huh? This is how thirsty we are for theories, right? Yeah, so like there's the red line over there. Oh, you see that lifted the lifted flowers? That's a sky island, actually. The clouds, that's the moon. Like,
Wait,
oh,
that's so
jeez.
good. That's
No,
actually
don't
cracked.
say it's so good,
That
Par. Don't say it's so good.
Dude, if Oda gave us an aerial view, you might, like, who's to say that house isn't supposed to be Mary Draw right now? You know what I'm saying? Like,
That's actually pretty decent. But no, Par, no. Yeah, what are we gonna say next? The tree on the left, that's the Adam tree and Eve tree.
you know what's crazy? I did see, yeah, I mean, we went over this a little bit. Remember the chess color spread or cover spread or whatever,
Yeah.
and the how Oda drew that and got to that point. He, like, the concept. He actually played chess on paper and tried to position where he thought the Straw Hats would play if they were pieces. And he went into that much detail just to make that cover story. Like I watched a video recently, people are like, you honestly, like if he just drew a random chessboard, no one would have cared. No one who even plays chess would have really cared. And then a few people in the comments like, I play chess, like I do enjoy the fact that like it is a real chessboard, like and game that was being played. And I think about that sometimes. Like we look at some of these pictures and we're like, oh, he just sat down, put it on paper. That one, it probably took him like a few, like an hour at least, you know, to like get the concept of it. And so it's like you never know when Oda might throw in something like this could just be a 5 minute thought, or it could be an hour, 2 hours, something that he checked on, something he had multiple perspectives on. That chess one blew my mind because it's like he literally played chess, played out the game, thought about, huh, would Luffy actually do this? And then he changed up the board, and then he changed the perspective so you couldn't even tell where the opponent's pieces were. And then he released that on Twitter or whatever, the official One Piece thing, and everyone's like, "What? Why
I'll
did he
admit, that's
put so much effort
pretty
into this?"
cool.
Yeah, it is cool. It is definitely cool. I appreciate things like that
I
for sure.
wonder, like, imagine this cover page, for example. Like, what if there was, like, crazy hidden deep meaning, and Oda spent, like, years cooking this up? He's like, oh, yeah, every single detail is in place. And then everybody looks at it, they're like, oh, mole people. And we just move on.
Yeah, I think
Like, what if you were actually, like, close to the truth, and I'm just over here laughing at you, like, Sky Island.
Oda releases like an end of series like thing, all the cover stories that you needed. Like oh, it reminds me of the Mr. Beast. Apparently he did like oh, there's like this code to this vault and he released clues on the internet and someone got it right and they won $1 million. And
Oh,
they
that's
just
sick.
had to like figure out what the clues were and what letters they were. And we find out that Oda's been doing that with the cover stories. Like, this is actually one of them. This was the map. If you did an aerial view of what we're looking at, you would know where like the One Piece is or something. But when
There's
you said
definitely,
the
like,
Sky
something
Island
like
thing,
that
I
out
was low
there.
key looking at this different when you said the Sky Island thing.
It's so funny. And then the holes are, like, not even islands, it's just, like, little Lucia holes. All the
Oh
water's, like, going in
snap!
there.
Yeah, it could be like from the Void Century. Like this is what it was before.
Yeah, because surely there's more holes than what we see already with La Lucia and Enies Lobby.
Yeah, yeah. At this point, the world it might just be Swiss cheese, and we just don't know.
Wasn't there a theory like that back in the day? Like the world is just Swiss cheese?
Our world?
Yeah. I feel like
I think
somebody
so.
cooked something like that up at one point.
I think they were like, oh, the Earth, like it actually is more malleable, like cheese, and it might be like moving like Swiss cheese, like not moving like Swiss cheese, but moving as if there were holes or something like that.
Yeah, like a crooked baseball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's beyond me. So leave it to the scientists on that one.
Yeah. So we're going to the Western Village in Elbaf still. Um, this is really interesting. I like this guy. He might be like one of my favorite giants, but in that first panel, you see a bald giant running.
Hmm.
And it's like, yeah, he looks really cool. I wish that is who we got when we were introduced to Dory, Brogy, Oimo, and Kashi.
Yeah, he's looking pretty giant-esque, like what giants he if he had a beard. It's because Oda does like the fluffy beards, but like
Yeah.
he looks pretty Viking. He looks pretty Viking, and he's carrying what's her face? He's
Ilva?
carrying your favorite. No, not Ronya. The one with the horns,
Joanna.
the kid with the horns.
Yeah, it's one of those things like the details, man. Let me tell you, I got a squint for that one. But yeah, you're right. He is carrying Joanna in that very first panel. Huh? Who is this guy? I mean, Joanna doesn't have parents.
Wait, maybe we should be worried. What? Maybe he's taking advantage of the situation.
Yeah.
Is
Ooh, a free
kidnapping.
daughter.
A free daughter's crazy,
Yeah.
but
He always wanted a kid of his own. He just could never find a
is he
mate.
headed toward the house? I feel like perspective wise, right? The house, he's running the wrong way a little bit. Like if you see the person running into the house, they're running like backwards on screen.
Yeah. Okay, but here's the thing. Here's the thing. There could be more houses that this guy's running to.
True, true, fair. We just don't see him in the next panel doing it, but I trust. He looks like a trustworthy guy.
Yeah, he looks like a good dude. Of course, like, take him back to like 300 years ago, he might just be a cannibal, but he looks good today.
Yeah.
Yeah, he looks good today.
Yeah, today, trustworthy. 300 years ago, 3,000 years ago, maybe not so much. I don't know if we could trust the promise, but...
So, we see that, what is that one kid's name? Not Colin, the kid next to him. Orca?
Bro, I don't know.
Geronimo. Dude, I looked up his name like yesterday. No, come on. Olga. No, it's Olaf.
Olaf? Yeah, Olga's a girl's name, so that's definitely not an Olga.
Yeah.
Is he wearing a hat, Olaf. Or is that his hair?
It's a hat. He always has the hat on.
Okay, yeah. It has to be a hat. It's like, it doesn't look like a helmet, but it doesn't look like hair. It's like some weird in between.
Yeah, I bet he gets bullied a lot for that.
I mean, this is the thing with, like, you asking the kid's name. This is real life too. People tell me their kids' names. I'm like, listen, if you're expecting me to know their name next week, gosh.
Yeah, unless you see them like very often, man, I'm not gonna remember this, dude.
Yeah. Unless they interact with me like solidly, like I'm just like, bro, this kid, that kid, like there's just a bunch of kids. Like
yeah, just you pretend you know and just move on. Just smile and wave.
Yeah.
Which is
Olaf? I'm gonna use that. I'm like, oh, Olaf, nice to meet you.
Let me tell you, that's exactly what Olaf is doing though. He's smiling at the whole situation. Dude, he's got star eyes. He's so excited to watch some violence go down, man. These Elbaf kids.
Maybe his dad's in the mix.
Oh yeah, maybe, yeah. That could be it. And he's finally seeing how cool it is to be a warrior.
Yeah.
Happy for these kids, man. Finally. You know, I feel bad because, like, this is not what Harold wanted, but at the same time, it's like, well, Harold, he was kind of extreme with, like, wanting no violence at all.
Yeah.
So we gotta set the kids straight.
Dude, if Harold was alive, Elbaf would be so easy. This arc would have been so easy.
Dude, imagine that. Emu shows up, and then Harold is right by his side. Submit, Elbaf.
Yeah,
Elbaf,
both
bend
ways.
the knee.
Yeah. Like, if Harold was on Emu's side, crazy. I was thinking if Harold was, like, not dead and, like, not on Emu's side.
Oh, then... yeah, he wouldn't be on Emu's side. I was just joking, but yeah. It's fun to think about.
If he showed up here, right? Evil Harold would have been terrifying, I feel like, because we wouldn't have been able to stall, I don't think, as hard for Luffy and Loki to show up. Like, Luffy and Loki would have showed up at a much dire situation. Yeah, especially if Harold's playing games, you know. I don't want to know what kind of games Harold, because back when he was playing games, one kick destroyed an entire city. You know, that was Harold's version of playing games. His version is like Demolition Derby. The Holy Knights are like, these kids are terrified. Haha, great games. Harold was like, let me see which island I can destroy for fun. And that's how we got introduced to him. And so if we got prime Harold back in action as a Holy Knight running we would have met every village. He would have ran the gauntlet.
Yeah, it would be horrifying, dude. Until we free Loki or until like Luffy fights him, it's game over.
Yeah. And be like, hey, let's see how many you guys can destroy versus me. Dude, that would have been crazy. Oh my god, now thinking about that.
Yeah, and then with a lot of people not knowing how like the mind control works, it's like, yo, like our king is maybe we should submit. You know, I'd rather submit to our king than just fucking die, dude.
Dude, that's a crazy if Harold showed up and then what would they do?
I often think about it. It's like, man, like surely the world of One Piece would know that he's being mind controlled, right? I don't think so. I think people would just be like, no, this is Harold. And you know what makes me believe that, Par?
What?
I go to the comment section of some of these videos. Some people believe that Harold was Domi reversied. And it's like, yeah, no, the lack of like reading comprehension, no, it's possible, dude. Like it's actually possible.
Dude, I saw that. The guy admitted that they forgot.
Oh, you
It was
say
like on
the
a
guy,
Brago video.
heads up, it was multiple people who say it. It's not just one
No,
person
no, 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 no.
specifically. Like, I've seen a lot of people
Yeah,
say,
yeah,
oh, but guys, Harold was Domi reversing. He should be fine now. It's like, whoa, 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 whoa. He wasn't Domi,
yeah.
guys.
Sorry. I should have clarified. I saw a comment like that. One comment on Brago's one of this is like 2 weeks ago, I think, or
Yeah.
last chapter, 76. And so they came up with like not came up, but they were saying some kind of like hypothesis. And then the first comment was, "You do know that Harold wasn't," and they're like, "Oh shit, brother, I forgot." And I was just like, "Oh, that's awesome. At least they admitted
Yeah,
it, you
no,
know.
I am
We don't get
so
that too
happy
often."
when people like admit they're wrong. And I admit when I'm wrong all the time too. You know, I'll usually go back to
Mhm.
chapters and find some sort of proof at times when I say like crazy things. But if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But dude, you will not believe the amount of
Yeah.
people who like double, triple down. It is absurd. I saw one person, multiple people, which this is not a call out, but I saw a good handful of people in this chapter. This is skipping ahead. I was like, man, like how did Chopper just get rid of Domi Reversi? And I legitimately had a couple of people say, oh, Chopper actually flipped them into the ground. He knocked them on their back. I'm like, guys, he didn't do that though. And then one guy, I swear to God, one guy said, oh, I might have misremembered, but maybe they'll add it in when Toei gets there in the anime. I was like awestruck by that comment. I was like, what do you mean Toei's gonna add in Chopper manually flipping this guy into the ground? Are you
Yeah.
insane?
Yeah, that's a. I maybe because I'm looking at the panel. Maybe they're seeing it like, oh, his arm is extending through because he's like, huh, and it looks like his arm is extending through. So maybe they're like, oh, we just don't see his arm flipping it. But like that's funny you say that because remember I was saying like, oh, when we got the Zoro situation with Dory Brogy and they're like, oh, we just gotta kill him. And I was like, maybe there's a stipulation. Maybe we find out that like it's not just that straightforward, and it's like it is something like putting them on their back or putting them on their front, like Katakuri and kind of every person
Yeah.
that Luffy fights, they end up on their back. I was saying that, but even in this situation, I don't see it like that because the main thing that is a conundrum here happens even before the person hits the ground. So, and we'll get to that point, but you know, it is funny when people kind of take a first reading and then just like adopt a headcanon about it and be like, oh yeah, the anime will support it too, by the way. It's just,
I was just like in shock and awe. Like sometimes I feel like I'm just getting rage baited by like one-off comments on the side. And it's like, there's no
yeah.
way. There's no way. But the thing is that, you know, I feel bad because like, you know, I'm then again, I'm like very polite when I respond to things, but you know, I'll generally check to see if like this person's commented before. Because if they have, I'm like, no,
Yeah.
this is a good actor. He's just living in a weird timeline right now.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just for me the not the trigger, but like it's whenever someone combats it with like, but the anime showed, and it's like a contradictory example, and I'm like, because sometimes it's like okay, like you know the situation with Luffy changing his clothes, it's a fact that his clothes changed, the anime filled it in. That's a situation where it's like okay, yeah, I understand where the anime fills it in. There's other times I'm like, I don't know if that's like I think the big one was like we don't necessarily know, but I remember a few conversations where it's like the big mom falling off of the Onigashima and Zeus, not Zeus,
Prometheus,
Prometheus
yeah.
catching her, and the anime had it so that like Prometheus went into the water and got her. And it's like I don't know if that makes sense, but people are like that's canon in the manga. That's what it shows
It's
too. I'm like
so
I
tough.
can't agree with that. I can't
It's tough
agree.
because there are times where like Oda, I bet does go into the studio and says, "Hey, let's do this right now," and
Hmm.
you know Toei does it, or they'll hit up Oda, and Oda's like, "Hey, this is how it happens," and they do it. Like,
Yeah.
but there's also times where like you know with the interview with Vincent Chansard, you know he can't really say how much of involvement Oda has because I feel like it's a you know don't ask, don't tell kind of thing, but. It's also like
Yeah.
he says that sometimes you know Toei agents they just do their own thing, you know, like they are given a
Yeah.
prompt and they just do it. And one thing that I always go back to that is definitely Oda intentional, And I love this detail. I talk about it all the time. I feel like people might be sick of it now. But the whole thing with Doflamingo talking about how he was, not accepted by the Holy Land and how he wants to drag him down to the bottom floor. During that scene, that is the first time we've ever seen the Emu butterfly. And that's well before we ever met Emu or anything in the flower room. And it's like, that is like an Oda detail. Like, Oda went in there and said, hey, add in this stupid blue butterfly.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So it's like, that's so fascinating.
I think that Vincent interview is Brago had him, and I think the thing that he brought up too, and I don't remember the exact specifics, but it was asking like, what is shown as when you guys add Conqueror's Haki or the Black Lightning, what does it mean? And I think he said like sometimes it is labeled and sometimes it's not, and it's just like conquers. It's just like shorthand, but like sometimes it's not, but they are told by the directors to do it, and it's the directors who like label something sometimes. And I'm just like, okay, so we just don't know. Like it's not like an official. Yeah. So in the anime, when they pull things out sometimes, especially with the Conqueror's Haki, it's like that's not supposed to be reflective. It's just like they just kind of like did what they felt was right kind of thing, which, maybe they got it right. But like what Sai's saying, something sentimental like the blue butterfly, I'm sure it's not like, especially when it's for me, it's like if it's with Luffy and Emu, I'm more leaning to the side. If the directors had questions, they asked Oda. They would not freehand Emu. If they did, like even with Chopper, right? Chopper is an example. I love that the live action has people saying like, oh, I mean, this is true, but they were saying like, oh, Netflix wanted a super realistic animal version of Chopper, but Oda told them to make it a mascot, which fine, that's true. But originally, Oda was the person who wanted the humanoid, super stiff looking Chopper. And then he changed his concept to what we got of Chopper. And even then, he just wanted a reindeer that talked. But then the anime casted the voice actress who does this super cutesy voice in all the animes. And then Oda was like, oh no, what are we doing with Chopper? And he wrote a whole note about how he was upset with the anime casting director because of that casting. And then he grew into it. Then he was like, all right, fine. Because he hated mascot characters. That's something originally Oda had. So, it's certain things like that where it's like the voice of Chopper in the anime, Oda didn't have the control over that. He didn't even know until much later. And that's eye-opening for, like, you would think like, oh, a main character, Oda surely chooses everything about it. Nope, he didn't even choose the voice. He didn't do that. But then there's certain things with the Emu butterfly. I'm certain they weren't just like, you know what, guys, let's just add our own shit to this scene. So I think it's one of those hard things, and I think Oda does it on purpose sometimes because he lets himself like, what do the directors think, or what do the writers think, or what do my editors think? Apparently the Shanks arm moment is also another one of those editor chosen changes. So,
and then we just like roll with
it. It's all a veil that Oda plays with.
Yeah, it's so interesting. Also, speaking of like the anime and the live action and stuff, did you see that the English dub is about to get to the Joy Boy scene pretty soon? And the reason that's really cool is because apparently, I think this is confirmed. I've seen it floating around, and I haven't heard anything to disprove it. But the voice actor for Joy Boy is going to be the 4Kids dub voice actor for Luffy from back in the day. You remember that?
What?
Yeah, it's crazy. So cool. It's just like how in Japanese they brought back the very first Luffy voice actor before Mayumi. They're doing the exact same thing here, where they're bringing back the 4Kids version. I'm like, yeah, that is beautiful.
Oh my god! Like I can hear the voice in my head, and I don't know if it's like nostalgia, but I kind of want to put on 4Kids right now.
Same. I did the same thing. I was like, man, I gotta like see that 4Kids again. Yeah, it's awesome, dude. I mean, 4Kids wasn't known for their good dub by any means, but it was just one of those things where it's like it's nostalgia. And of course, I doubt they're gonna use the same voice that they used like all those years ago. I mean, obviously it's been like 20 years, so I bet their voice has changed a little bit. And for Joy Boy, I bet they'll take it a little bit more seriously than what 4Kids wanted. Because 4Kids wanted like the goofy, wacky voices. So I'm not worried at all.
Yeah. They were always going for the raspy too, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, they wanted it to be super raspy.
Yeah. I think Naruto also had the raspy. But that's the principal person, the lady.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was like a maybe it was they were like, raspy voice, let's do a puberty filter. Like he's 15-ish. So they just made the voice extra raspy. Dang, that's interesting. Was the guy active, or did he just get a random phone call one day and just like, what?
Apparently it's a girl, which, I mean, I feel like most main characters are just played by girls, but yeah, I don't know. I've never heard of this voice actor before outside of this, so I don't know if they're actually active.
Is it the same person that did Naruto's voice? Is it that lady?
I don't know. I'm not
I forget.
well versed in like voice actors by any means, so I can't say. But either way, I think that's a really awesome Easter egg. Shoutouts to Funimation for doing that. They must have seen how much people like the whole thing of like the OG voice actor for Luffy in Japanese doing it. So they're like, you know what? Roll it back. Roll it back. So
pretty awesome.
Getting back onto the chapter, Dory's shield, kind of inconsistent. It was pierced by this Domi Reversi trident, which kind of makes sense. But at the same time, this is the same shield that stopped Warcoody's charge back on Egghead.
Oh, true.
People have said, piercing damage versus slash damage. I'm like, yeah, that could be it. Maybe that shield is just really bad at taking, pinpoint blows, but it is kind of funny to note.
Maybe Tall Man or Thor Man, whatever they call him in Viz, maybe he knew the weak point because he knows his captain.
Ah.
Yeah, it's like Usopp versus Luffy, right? A random Usopp who never met Luffy wouldn't have done so well at Water 7, but because Usopp knew Luffy's weaknesses, he had those like spiky balls and stuff, and he was prepped. So maybe it's a I know your greatest weakness here. You never fixed that one cut that, this guy left. Something like that. That'd be kind of nuts.
Ooh, also, I just wanted to verify my own claim about Doflamingo. Yes, I'm looking at it right now. It's episode 699, near the end. He destroys a blue butterfly, and that adapts chapter 760, and there's no butterfly there in the manga panels. So it's like, yeah, they literally added in the blue emu butterfly, and Doflamingo destroyed the butterfly when he talked about wanting to rip the celestial dragons down, and how he wants to destroy the world they control. So like that's just so insane.
Sai has said that detail before, but just because it's been a while, he wanted to check the veracity of his own claims right live on camera.
I wanted to make sure I wasn't crazy and just spitting on asses right now. So I was like, okay, let me just like double check this real quick. So I'm not insane. But yeah, 300 chapters before Emu was introduced, which is just that's crazy.
Yeah. Sai doesn't want to deal with the comments. Well, actually, Sai.
Yeah. Like I said, I can be wrong, so like I just want to double check.
Yeah.
Much like the Domi Reversi Herald people, just gotta double check everything real quick.
I have been contemplating if, like, to the commenters' credit, right? Like, I don't want to give them credit, but can Domi Reversi and the Mark be stacked? Can you Domi Reversi at a Holy Knight, or can a Holy Knight, like before, like if you're Domi Reversi, can you then be a Holy Knight, like, or is it exclusive? And what happens then? You know what I mean? Because there is a difference. There is similarities, but there is a difference. Like one gives you a straight up like physical transformation, and to some extent, right? Like Harold was on crack cocaine. Sure, he was like, oh, this power, I feel like I can take Ragnar. And it's like, I wonder if he was Domi Reversi, would he be feeling that same like, insane steroid? Because they're kind of saying the same thing. He's like, guys, this drug, it feels so good. They do substitute Damian a little bit, and it sounds similar. And it's like, how similar is it? Is it a tier? Is Damian a tier below? You know, like is it just crack and not cocaine, or is it or is this bath salts? Like what? They sound like they're drugged up. You know, it's just a question of like, are they mixing, and is it possible to mix? Can you crossfade this one? But point is that maybe we find out that Harold was also Dom Reversing. Who knows, guys? Who knows? There was a circle in that room.
Yeah, it's just like one of the main things with Domi is like what so far the commonalities like the wings, the
The
teeth,
horns.
the
Yeah.
horns, the trident. Harold had none of that, so it's like
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't think he was. Can a Holy Knight get Domied? I'd say no.
Hmm.
I just feel like it's maybe there's like a line in the magic sand where it's like, yeah, you can't Domi somebody you already give your powers to. Because
Yeah.
it is like a
I feel
weird
like
double up or
because
crisscrossing of the wires.
yeah, yeah, that's how I kind of see it. Because it's like you're making a contract. You can't sign two contracts. That's kind of like what happens if the first contract. Yeah, maybe we're gonna find that like maybe the power up is that like Emu Damir versus Killingham and Somers, and we get crack cocaine, Somers. But I
Yeah,
just
that could be
wonder
their
like how much
comeuppance.
would they change?
I would
Yeah,
like to
yeah.
imagine
I
they
mean,
still have
they're
their sanity.
I would like it, but you also remember when Saturn went to his full form, he kind of lost himself. Like he stopped talking. And there were a few key moments when the what was a worker, he just like stood there on panel. I always love that.
Yeah.
Just what
Like they're still there
so it's
though.
like,
I mean, Saturn communicated via telepathy during that time.
and so did Rox. Rox was able to use voice of all things. It wasn't telepathy in the sense of like the way we got the garp and whatever thing, it sounded like it was a loudspeaker that only they heard. Whereas like with Saturn, if it was voice of all things, then Luffy should have heard them, which that wasn't the case,
Yeah.
right? So it is an interesting oh, and also the Iron Giant. The Iron Giant was speaking, but it was only Luffy heard him, right? Or am I misremembering?
I don't remember. I think it
I
was Voice
think
of
it
All
was like,
Things.
yeah, I think it was voice all things. So
Yeah.
Luffy only heard it, not like anybody else. Um, So point is that like that you guys might forget. Once upon a time, I made videos and I went deep on observation hockey, voice of all things, and all this stuff, and came up with this overarching thing called mind rope. And in that separation, telepathy and voice of all things are even in the series. They are separate. Like the
Yeah.
way the Gorosei were using it
It's
was
different.
very different than Voice of All Things that we saw from Rocks, where it seemed like if you had Voice of All Things, you would be able to hear it. And I am curious because Garp and Roger are kind of tough cookies because they should have it. Or they're characters who I wouldn't be like, oh my god, why do they have it? Whereas have loved to see like I don't know, even the Rock's Whitebeard, Big Mom, and Kaido are also back. I would like to see a character who I don't think would have it. I'm not gonna say Barbell, but like Shiki's a bad one. But like Wang Ji, if he showed up and he was able to hear Rocks, then it's like, does he have voice of all things, or is Rocks just telepathizing with him? Because then that would be telepathy. If a character who doesn't have voice of all things is able to hear it, then it's like directly talking to him, right? Like another good moment's like when Luffy fell down off of Onigashima, and he seemingly spoke directly to Momo. Momo is a character we know who has voice of all things because he spoke to Zunisha, right? But it's not like Luffy's crew heard him; they just straight up believed in him. It's not like Luffy's like, "Hey, line up, I'm still alive, baby." No, they were like, "No, he'll be back." We don't know how or why or where he is, but he'll be back. That's just belief, right? It's not like Luffy told them. So it's an interesting thing. And Marco didn't hear it. So, and I feel like Marco would be a character who, would hear voice all things. At this point, I'm sure he's like almost schizo considering his friends are all dead. So, he's probably hearing the voice of all things all the time.
Yeah, here's
It's
the
like,
ghost of his crew.
Whitebeard. Yeah. Yeah, he's like, Thatch, is that you?
Yeah, it feels like a romance anime.
Uh,
Marco would get like flashbacks every 2 seconds. Just like, oh yeah, Whitebeard used to do
oh,
that.
romance.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Ace used
more
to
like
open doors.
horror, like a never-ending horror thing. Like all of his friends are dead. The title of the series is like all my friends are dead. That'd be the theme song too.
Yeah, it's
Like
just
that
all my
song.
friends are dead.
Yeah. I'm surprised it's
Yeah.
not an anime title yet.
There's just, going back to it, I just feel like there's a lot about the God Knights, Emu and the Gorsi we still don't know about. Like, we know things like, oh yeah, telepathy. Oh yeah, Domi's a thing. Oh yeah, like Mark of the Abyss. But we don't know the depths of it yet. Like, we don't really know, like, every single condition. Like, people are still wondering, who can get Domi Reversi next chapter? It's like, well, like, the Homeland theory still seems plausible. We don't know if that's true.
Yeah.
We don't know if it works on Devil Fruit users. We know you can't break out of it
Hmm.
if you have Conqueror's Hockey. We know that at least. Like, there's still a lot of
Yeah.
questions in the air that hopefully Oda will answer in an SBS.
Yeah. Yeah. At this point, SBS is like where everyone's. I feel like as we go on, the amount of people that message me, Par, did you see the SBS? And like this time was a little bit funny because half of them were just super silly. But the Roger Jolly Roger one was in there. But I feel like more and more people are locked in on SBS releases than like a year ago. Even though it's been more, every year I feel like more and more people read the SBS religiously. So could be a good thing, but
It
it's
makes sense,
also
dude. Like,
Oda,
we're in
please
that final
explain
saga,
things to me.
so Oda's revealing more and more things.
Yeah, yeah. The kid, I think the change, the radicalization moment was a kid's backstory. When that came out, I remember people were like, "Oh no, he's gonna die."
Oh yeah, they're like, oh, he's cooked, guys. Kid got his backstory in the SBS. He's definitely dead now. There's no reason for him to come back. It's like, really?
Yeah, and
How
that,
how
I
to feel
think
like
that
that's
was
not it. I mean, Law also got his backstory revealed in an SBS. I mean, he's not dead.
we don't even know if Laws is real.
Yeah, Law's gotten multiple backstories now, and let me tell you, I think he's still around too, brother. He's not
Yeah,
dead.
yeah. I like user XY34's version of Law's backstory because who knows which one is real, you know?
Yeah, Law is such a funny character, dude. Yeah, when will we see him
Yeah,
again?
yeah.
I feel like it makes a
He
lot
would
of sense
be,
for him to be here in Elbaf.
yeah, he would be so good for this. Like, we're waiting on Vegapunk to give us the analysis. Imagine Law doing his like room and then figuring out the Damiroverse. It'd be so easy. He might even be able to solo fix it. You know what I'm saying? Like, because especially when we see the Chopper moment, it's like if Law could figure that out from that moment, he would be able to just room fix everyone. I feel like he's the doctor that we've been waiting for, you know? Oh God.
And Law
Wait,
would
hold
also be
on.
great against the Holy Knights too, because he would just like chop them up.
Yeah, now that I think about it, we always put blame on Chopper not fixing Okabura Town, but Law was there too.
Yeah, I think Law might have just not cared, to be honest.
And that's not bad. Like Chopper, the reason we put on Chopper is because Chopper wants to cure everybody. Law doesn't give a shit. He's just like,
Law's hanging
bro,
out,
why am
dude.
I here? Yeah, yeah. That's that's why we don't put slack on Law for that. He was there, he just doesn't care.
I like to
That should be a
imagine
t-shirt. I was there, but I don't care. That's
the
perfect.
Okabore Ibisu town citizens. They're like, oh, I heard there's a great doctor named Law. Can we see him, please? And then you see Law's crew just like standing outside his door, just knocking people back. Like, get away, poor man.
Yeah. Don't you know we're pirates? And
Learn your
then
place.
oh god. Oh
They just
jeez,
start
that's
mocking
so
their
good
Japanese
though.
accents or something.
Yeah, yeah. Law's like charging a hefty fee. Do you have healthcare? Nope. I don't take Wano's insurance.
Yeah, I don't.
Oh god.
You guys have nothing to offer me. Get out of here.
Yeah, yeah. Damn. Damn. Do you have Yo, he's trading in Poneglyph. Oh, secrets on the man marked by flames. That'd be crazy.
He's
Huh.
dealing in info, which, I mean, Law does know something about the man marked by flames, so Where to get the info from?
Yeah.
Which is still so odd. I feel like no matter what theory I have for Man Rocked by Flames, like whether it's Barbell, Vista, Shiki, etc., I feel like the law thing really throws a weird wrench into it.
Man marked by flames. You said Vista? Is that a prominent, or you just threw a name?
I just threw a name in there.
Okay. I had a dissonance right there. I was like, when I've never anybody
I was
doing this.
I like revisited the Barbell theory, and I was like, yeah, Barbell's probably with Sunbell, right? But I started throwing in like other characters. I was like, what if like they just have a bunch of retired pirates? Like that's where like retired pirates go to just hang out and protect, the One Piece or the last poneglyphs. So I was like, yeah, like maybe Vista's there. Because we still, in parentheses, quotation marks, we still need the reasoning as to why Vista and Yasop hate each other. So it's like, yeah, we could get like the backstory soon. And maybe Vista's with the man marked by flames, so we'll get that info.
Wait, hold on. Vista hates Yasop?
Yeah, look it up. Vista hates Yasop. So apparently,
what?
So this sounds like headcanon. Okay, hear me out. Apparently, there was a scene at Marineford where Vista and Yasop stare at each other.
Pause.
Yes.
Pause. I'm sorry. I looked up the first thing. I said Vista hates Yasop. The YouTube search, the Google search. What do you think happened between Vista and Yasop? And the highlighted thing on this Reddit thing is Vista is Usopp's actual mother. That's
Vista's the one who gave Usopp's mom the disease. Like
It says that's the top answer. I cannot. This is okay. And then the AI says Vista does not have a confirmed hatred for Usopp. Bro, I searched up Yasop. Okay.
Yeah,
continue. Sorry.
No. All good. I was just about to say, there was one panel at Marineford where Vista and Yasop are staring at each other. In my opinion, it's like, oh, like maybe it's just a weird panel where, they're just looking at each other. But apparently in a data book, Oda said that something happened in the past and they're now rivals. And I'm just like, what? Like, so that is like confirmed. I looked it up on the wiki and that's an actual thing. Vista and Yasop have beef.
I see. Even the wiki says at the end of Summit War, Yasop and Vista were seen looking at each other with discontent. I disagree with this picture because Yasop's not looking at Vista, in my opinion. But
yeah, like I said, the picture alone doesn't really serve it. But the Blue Deep data book mentions that something happened in the past between the two, so it does confirm that like there is something there.
Oh no, they are. Oh no, I got a higher res. No way. Yeah, the Blue Deep. Oh, and the Blue Deep one I think has like other like Oda canon stuff too. Like, and that's hard with the data books because a lot of it's flavor text. But I remember specifically the Blue Deep one has like a decent.
This doesn't sound like flavor text either. This is like out of their way. Yeah, they don't like each other. Like something happened years ago. There's a grudge, and I really love that. Because it's like, dude, like maybe the man marked by flames, maybe it is like a bunch of retired pirates, Barbell, Sunbell. We'll see Vista there and we get the lore before we see Yasop. And then we'll see, I don't know, Jozu or I don't know. Retired pirates is kind of fun.
Maybe Vista pulled like an Afro Man type of thing where he goes like, how's your wife doing, bro? And Yasop doesn't know. It's like, oh, you left your wife for me, and then like, and then Vista pulls out like, do you even know how she passed away in my arms? Like shit like that, and Yasop just like gets insanely rage baited.
Insanely triggered.
Dude, Vista the love guy, I could see it. Him like mogging him like, oh my god, if Oda does something like that, where Vista like makes fun of Yasop for abandoning what's her face Banchina. Yeah, that'd be kind of good.
That would be good.
Yeah. Oh my god. I never knew. This is something that I truly never knew.
It's weird.
I've never come across this.
Like I never came across that either until I looked up Vista for the man marked by flames. Like. Because I was thinking,
that's such a weird reason.
I know it's a weird reason, but okay. Let me show you my logic.
Uh-huh.
Law has hints about who the man marked by flames is. The manga
Mm-hmm.
kind of shows like a panel of Law just walking off weirdly, and then in the anime they prolong the scene, and Robin like stares at Law whenever they talk about the man marked by flames. So I was like, okay, he knows something, but how? So I like scoured through Law's entire story, and I was like, yeah, like no character in Law's backstory fits. So I started looking at characters who were also born in the North Blue, because like maybe it's like a North Blue thing, and Vista was from the North Blue, and I was like, okay, he's the only character that I feel like Law might have ran into. So
Mm-hmm.
I went into like the Vista like lore info stuff, and then I just got that random tidbit, and I was like, well, I mean, if there is lore there between Yasop and Vista, maybe we'll like learn it soon before we meet Yasop. And like, yeah, maybe Vista's right there, right next to Sunbell and Barbell. So I added Vista there too now. So it's the man marked by flames. It's growing in its cast.
Yeah, no, I mean that is Oda's gonna do something with it. It's just that's a I don't know if the man marked by flames, but I do agree in the sense of the retired pirates part. You know what I mean? There's definitely some kind of like after Blackbeard had the Grudge War, it's not like Blackbeard just annihilated all of the Whitebeard pirate remnants and they just died. And like in a similar fashion, you know, you start off talking about like Barbell, Sunbell, like the ex Roger pirates, they can't all also have died too. Like that would be insane if all we have left is Scopper and Rayleigh, and we just walk by the point that like the other Roger pirates died. They just don't exist. Like I wouldn't be surprised if we come across some of these retired pirates. And to the other half of it is, they were being chased by the world government, so their prerogative was to be staying hidden. So let's say some of them got captured. Where would they be thrown? They'd be thrown to level 6. And so if they were thrown to level 6, that means that some of them probably escaped in the Impel Down escape thing. So there's so many reasons for ex pirates. I'm not specifically talking about Vista, but like, in general, Sunbell possibly, right? Escaping. But I do like the version where it's like Barbell is Sunbell. That's a funny one.
They're like
But
the same person.
yeah, right. We haven't seen them in the same room, have we?
No, never seen them in the same room.
Yeah. So, hey,
Imagine it as like
maybe
a
Barbell
clone
just like
Delph. Like it's legitimately like two people, but also one person at the same time. Be kind of sick.
yeah, or they're like twins that play the same character in like a series or something. Like they just show up, and it is this. I don't know where I was going with that, but
I don't know where you're going either.
one day we'll pull the veil off of Barbell. Surely, if we vote him high enough in the popularity thing, it's guaranteed. We'll find out.
Yeah, Oda will feel
You know?
compelled to add him back into the story if he wasn't too. Like maybe Oda
Yeah,
didn't have Barbell planned for the band Barked by Flames, but he's like, you know what? So many people want it, gotta add him in.
yeah, and it's if we could do that with Bogard, we could do that with Barbell, guys. So make sure to get those clicks in. Vote in Barbell.
Yeah, vote in Barbell, vote in Bogart as well. Just get all these guys back in. We miss them.
Yeah.
So, going on with the chapter, we see a really nice montage. We got all the giants just attacking. It is beautiful. You said that it was your favorite pages in this chapter, and I could see why. Your guy Brogy lands a really nice attack on a guy who used to eat all of his rice. Hyrodin uses your favorite attack, Gungnir, as well. Dora uses another one of your favorite attacks, Ikaku Sovereignty. And Stanson, a guy that you forgot existed without the recap, he uses Giant Trauma, another one of your favorite attacks. Awesome stuff, huh, Par?
To clarify, Stanson got a visual rework since the Sabaody, and so I didn't recognize the two being one and the same originally. But as you said back then, it was understandable, that I didn't connect the dots because they didn't look the same. But I did notice that in the mix of my favorite panels was your favorite move, Gungnir. You've been waiting for this attack. You said that this could possibly even put down Ragnir. they have the same name, and you know, did this meet the expectations?
You know what this means to me? Honestly, I am happy that Hired and whipped out Gungnir here. I genuinely am. And the reason why is because this shows how much he has grown since Dressrosa. Like, imagine that. Dressrosa, this was his ultimate finisher that defeated the Mac Vice. And now, casually just Gungnir, Gungnir, Gungnir. You know how insane that is?
I only see one.
Dude, that is like Luffy. Imagine this. Luffy, pre-time skip, it took all of his energy to go gear 3rd. But guess what? 2-year time skip, now he has gear 4th. Now he has gear 5th. Now he has Red Hawk. Since Harden is casually whipping out Gungnirs, imagine what his new ultimate ability is going to be.
Yeah, he'll be rifle near and sniper near. It's just like he picks out specific guns to put out. That'd actually be kind of nuts. Like you put sniper in front. Oh man.
Ooh, sniper near?
Yeah. Yeah, like and that also fits like sniper near like as a pun. Cause like it'd still be a punch, but it'd be like a precision, like extra power. It's like penetrating. It's like a slash. Oh, and it'd be sick if he could have like projectile punches, you know?
Oh, yeah. We haven't really seen that, have we?
Like a Hadoken, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
well, Hadoken's like a fireball you shit out of your hands, but
yeah.
Have we seen a projectile
like this,
punch in One Piece yet?
Not
maybe
like,
Garp's
we've seen
Galaxy Impact-ish?
Yeah, that
Kobe's
Hired getting anything near
well.
Garp. Yeah, getting anything near Garp would be kind of sick.
Yeah. No, I mean,
well,
the thing is, people often mention Hired and Garp in the same conversation when they talk about power scaling too. So it wouldn't be brand new.
Yeah. What conversations are you a part of?
So I like to hang out at the mental asylums every now and then, and they love this talk, man.
Yeah, which Discord server do I need to block? Like,
yeah. So what island do I have to like eliminate?
Yeah, dude. But you know, it's funny because I was hoping you would say that like Gungnir is now his base move, and he got like Gungnir Gatling, and you perfectly like I do think that he will have something like that, right? Like it'd be so insane if he showed up and his final move was still Gungnir and not some like four syllable, you know, or 4-worded attack move like everybody else. I want to see him look at Stanson like, and Stanson's like, okay, everybody stand back. And then like Hiredin's like winding up for this insane thing. Like he learned from like Elizabello. Like he learns about King's Punch. And you know, maybe hold on. Hiredin getting like a King's Gungnir, a King's Punch would be kind of insane. Like one hit, load up, and like something that's so strong that even Loki's like, wait, hold on. Because Elizabeth is just a big dude, but put that technique in the hands of Hiredin, you might get like, because it's not like Elizabello is like Zoro strong. You know what I mean? He just has that technique, King's Punch, and we don't know what the heck that is, but it is insane. Like it blew away like Pika's body, right?
Yeah,
like from mad far. So like you give something like that to Hiredin, you might get a perfect setup where like a bunch of things are falling. It's not something that Luffy or Loki handle, and you just see Hiredin just pull out a King's Gungnir, and it just blows everything smithereens. All the kids are like, "Whoa, Hiredin's so cool!" You know, like
damn.
That might be
maybe. Oh, maybe we do Domi versus Loki then, just so Hiredin can take him down.
Dude, yeah, and it has. I think it would have to be like a one hit wonder kind of thing. I think that feels like a Hiredin character. Like, you know, he's like, you don't expect it coming from him, and then all the kids are like, no, he took down Loki. This is insane. The new king, you know, something like that. You know,
dude, would the Loki
like he's
stocks
the
go down
strongest
after
brother. That? Do you think? I don't think.
Do you think
Loki
people would hate
down,
Loki after that? I don't know.
Down. I think Loki would respect it. You know, I think he would stay down for the sake of it. I feel like Loki's that type of character. It's like, God damn it, I look so lame, but it's fine. It's Hiredin. It's
Yeah.
Ida's son.
Yeah, no, I feel the exact same way. I feel like if Hiradin takes down Loki a peg, that would be amazing for the brotherly relationship. Because right now, Loki does not respect Hiradin. Not saying,
Yeah,
every brother has to respect each other, but I feel like this is a plot point that needs to be tackled. Because what King Harold was like,
yeah.
hey, like, I hope you two get along and you rule Elbaf together. It's like, yeah, right now they hate each other, man. I'm sorry.
And it would be perfect for Hiredin's character because Ida was telling Harold that like there's so much you can learn from humans. Like humans can do so many things that giants can't do, and that's the whole like delegation and diplomacy that Harold is trying to do. And Hiredin learned that move from a human. And so like Loki's like, what? Where did you learn that technique? And he's like a king of some puny nation. Like he wouldn't say a puny nation, but like Loki would understand it that way. Be like, you learned that from one of those puny humans? That's insane, you
Yeah,
know?
imagine Loki's like, I must find this guy. And it's just Elizabetto.
Yeah, yeah. And it's like and that's what's crazy too. It's like Elizabello is such a random dude to give that to. He's because he's not a combatant like that, but he is. And he
Dude,
even
the
gave
way they
like
hype it
going
up,
back to it, he
too.
gave Riku.
They said that, like, the King's Punch could take down a Yonko.
Yeah, they
Which
did.
I think is BS, but that is crazy flavor text, right? Like, even for a rumor,
Yeah,
that
yeah,
is absurd.
and Elizabello, I'm pretty sure it was Elizabello. He went up to Riku after the fight and stuff, and it was just like, is that Riku, the guy whose stare could stop a nation or something like that? And then King Riku was like, stop it, stop it. But I read that, I was like, no, what does that mean? Why does this,
Give us the
like, what?
lore,
Did he just look at them?
please.
Does he have Conqueror's hockey? Like, what are we talking about? Because that's what it felt like. It felt like he was saying that his Conqueror's hockey was so strong that it's just like crippled like another leader. And it's kind of wild because it's coming from Elizabella who has that punch, right? So it makes you wonder. It makes you wonder. But oh man, now thinking,
Dude, some of these old dudes, man, in their prime, like King Neptune and stuff, it's like, dude, what are these guys doing? Who are they fighting?
yeah, what was the demons like back then,
Yeah.
right? Like, yeah, it's crazy because now most of the kings are like Cobra. We got Cobra, man.
Oh my
Maybe before
god,
he was in the
dude.
wheelchair.
Oh. No, Cobra was always like this, brother. I don't think Cobra ever had like a good like spurt in his life.
No, but think about it. Think about okay. I'm not coping, but
Let's get
imagine
the
that's
cope.
why Crocodile had the 5-year plan. He was like, oh, in order
Oh
to take down
yeah?
Cobra, I can't just fight him.
Of
And
course, of
then Cobra
course.
ended up in a wheelchair. And then he's just like, well, shit. I guess I could have just fought him. He would have been, taken
Yeah,
down.
Crocodile's
Oh
main
man,
op
that's
was
crazy.
just King Cobra. They should have made him a little bit strong. Like, I'm not saying King Cobra had to be busted. Like, he should at least know how to swing a sword, I think.
It rubs me a little because like Cobra, I mean not Cobra, Crocodile wasn't even afraid of Pell and Chaka, but and he's completely dookied on the other guards. So it's like if there was some sort of like actual opposition that like Crocodile had, then it could have made a lot of things made more sense. But he didn't care about any of them really. And
Nope.
so if Cobra was the first op and he went in his 5-year plan for it, that would have been how long was Crocodile cooking that up? Was it 5
No,
years?
it was
No,
longer than 5 years.
that's Water
It was like
7.
at least a decade or two.
Oh my
Because
god,
we
dude.
saw Crocodile in Alabasta during Law's like child flashback with Corazon.
Mm, that's a
So
good pull.
yeah, that's because it was in the
Oh, so
newspaper and then
is it
somebody
Law's
answered it in an
backstory fake?
SBS.
So, it's one of those situations where Law's backstory has truths in it to make you think that it's real.
Exactly. Yeah, that's
Perfect,
how Law tricks
perfect.
people.
Dude, we're creating our worst enemy. People from this comment section or review, they're gonna go out into the world and be like, Law's story is not real, and be that person in the comment section.
Yeah, we're creating the people we dislike the most. I love that. It's a endless cycle. It's like the
Yeah, it's a feedback
Ouroboros.
loop.
Man.
Guys, we didn't say that.
We
Someone
didn't
on
say it.
TikTok made that theory up, not us. Okay, guys.
I don't know who started it, but it's so funny though. I love it. I love it so much. Law having a fake backstory, dude. Who comes up with that? It's so funny. You have to just
So
roll with it, right? Like, yeah, it's canon
yeah.
now, or I guess it's not canon anymore.
Like that's a theory or thought that I want Oda to like confront. Like he meets a fan and it's like, so you master class this one with Law's fake backstory? Nani? Like what do you mean fake backstory?
Yeah.
Oh
We should
god, he's
genuinely
so
waste an
good.
SBS question on this. I'm not even
Yeah.
joking. We
So
should.
how much of Law's story is real?
So Oda, when will we get Law's actual backstory? Did Law make up the whole D clan thing, or is that still canon?
Yeah. Maybe wild.
You
Oh
know how much
man. Oh,
cachet
and the
you'd get
water
if you just
thing
lied
too.
about the D thing? Like imagine you
Yeah.
just go up to Sengoku. Yeah, I'm one of the D clan members, so I have this weird middle initial that has a D in it, and then everybody's just like,
You know
"Whoa,
anything about?
whoa, he's one of them." Nobody
Yeah,
questions
next
it.
bounty poster. That's like what Kid needs to do. Like Kid needs to just take the second D out of his name and make it the
Why
middle
doesn't
name.
he?
Yeah, I know.
Like,
He's not. I don't
nothing's
know. He
stopping
maybe
you.
he's afraid.
Nobody's gonna like check your birth certificate. Like, no, just put the D in there, man. Have fun.
Yeah, and then I said maybe he's afraid, and I just realized what is he afraid of? He's not afraid of anything. He should
He's
just put it there.
fearless.
Yeah. Maybe that's where his line stops, like lying about his name, you know?
Oh yeah, he's like, I'm not gonna lie. I've been lied to before with Law's
Yeah.
backstory, and I don't like that feeling.
With Law.
He was a victim of the backstory. That's why Kid gave Law so much screen time.
Yo, he asked Law with the manga, is this real? Law's
Yeah.
like, the fuck? No, it's not. And then
Keep this on the
Kid
down
puts
low.
down the manga, god damn it. This
Yeah.
is all a lie?
Don't tell anybody.
Yeah. Oh
So
god, they did
after
spend some time
your
together.
favorite characters at Elbaf do their attacks, one of my favorite characters actually
Yeah.
performs a brand new attack as well. Zoro uses 3 sword style red ogre mega.
What the what is that name? Stephen Paul, dude. That's crazy.
No,
What was it
I
called?
think that's
Now I'm
right.
forgetting.
Mega rage. Yeah, that sounds right.
Mega Fury. Mega Fury. Okay.
Mega fury, mega
Zoro
rage. It's
possible
in the same vein.
is possible Zoro pun referencing an idiom about a father's anger over his kids finishing all the rice. Yeah. It's just funny that Mega Rage sounds like such a meme. It's a meme attack.
Yeah, I feel
Oh
like they should have
god,
put
that's
rice in there. Just call it mega rice at this point.
yeah. I get what they're trying to go because like Zoro's moves are like puns, like onigiri, right?
Yeah.
Like so it's like the rice ball. So this is a pun on the rice story that was just told and an idiom. So I get it. But in English, Mega Rage just sounds so
It sounds a little bit
odd.
silly. Like we're not
Yeah.
really getting the nuance that the Japanese fans get at all.
Yeah,
Like I said,
yeah.
I think Viz would benefit so much from translator notes. Like it's not that hard to
Yeah,
do.
yeah.
I mean, they have this chapter well before the leakers do. Man, translator notes would it would
Like
be fire. So much goodwill there.
it's like even here, right? Like if they just took out Mega Rage, Red Ogre's stolen rice, right? That's something that tells you it's like, oh, that probably means something in Japanese. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Versus Red Ogre Mega Rage. If I'm reading that in English, I'm like, is that a direct translation? I have no context that it's like that it's a pun on something, possibly, right? But if I said 3 sword style Red Ogre's stolen rice, like that sounds like, whoa, that's a crazy fun, that's a funny name, but also that's definitely something in Japanese. Like you wouldn't need too many logical leaps to come to that conclusion. And it also kind of makes sense with the onigiri, right? It's like if you were to directly translate that, it would be rice ball. But we're not doing that. We just put onigiri there, right? So it's like It is interesting. Like maybe if I go back, I'm gonna have the Mandela effect, and I see that Zoro's first attack is called the rice ball. But no, I'm pretty sure they put onigiri. It wouldn't be that crazy for them to try to keep some essence of the translation here. But I get it. I guess.
Yeah, shouts to Mega
Interesting.
Rage, Par's new favorite
Yeah.
attack.
Yeah. I mean, he did a number on this dude. I
Hey,
don't
killed him,
know,
dude.
like, yeah,
Really killed him.
he heard like you're telling me I can start killing people in the series now, Oda, and McKenyu. This is McKenyu. One day is gonna have to do this.
Yeah. One
One day.
day when he's like 50,000 years old, when they're pulling him out of like a sarcophagus, he's gonna be doing these exact
Yeah,
attacks.
yeah. He's gonna be brought back like the four kids dub voice. That'd be crazy.
Yeah. Which we see that Jarl is watching this all unfold, and let me tell you, I'm a little bit disappointed in Jarl's performance here. Because just like any old guy, he's not really performing.
He's a little questioning like the intent behind everyone else's attacks, but I feel like he's saying, but they seem a little too eager, meaning like he's more of a tank, like he's not the
Yeah.
mobility, so he needed them to come to him and then he would dispatch all of them. But because the youngins went out ahead, he's kind of like the rear vanguard, like the real power. They haven't breached the front lines. Once we get Jarl like being, you know, like confronted, we're gonna start surely, you know what I mean? Like look at him, just he's like a mountain in the middle of that panel. You almost couldn't tell that that is a person, you know?
Dude,
And
I
everyone
was
around
expecting
them
so
are
much from him.
giants. But I mean, like, look, everyone around him are giants, and they look like little people compared to him, you know? They look like humans next
What
to
if
him.
Jarl is just like Treble, where like it's all fake, it's all fluff? Like the minute Jarl
Yo,
takes
yeah.
off his like cape, he's like super skinny, super decrepit. He's wearing a fat suit. He's on
His beard is
stilts.
hiding. He's walking on his beard.
Yeah. It could be like a gag where like, oh no, Jarl got stabbed. And then it's like, oh, actually my beard, it blocked the attack.
Okay. But we could have the opposite, and he does the Master Roshi thing, and he just like gets yoked up, and he's even bigger,
Oh,
and he just like
like
is the
Lao G.
strongest looking dude. Yeah. No, not even like. Well, yeah, like Lao G, but like I'm just thinking, like Master Roshi does the first thing where his back straightens up, and then he gets yoked up. I just want the back straightening up, like he just stands up straight, and he's just hiding like the pecs. But you're right. There is a world where he is scrawny and then he becomes insanely strong.
There's also
There's
another
that.
world where Jarl, like, you mentioned standing up straight. What if Jarl this entire time was like crouched?
I'm waiting for it. You know what? I'm waiting for the day. I'm waiting for the day where Oda hits us with the like this old guy is actually he's been the strong. I mean, Hiredin did say once upon a time this guy was the strongest in the seas. So like
And here he is, not even fighting.
yeah, and Oda does like saving the best for last. There's a sword in his head. There is a sword in his head. All I'm
I
gonna
had
say is that
so many expectations coming off of the whole thing where he's like, oh, warriors don't run. And then we just never see him fight.
the Viz translations changed it to never tell a warrior to run. That's what that translated to.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Yeah, so he
I
just
came
didn't want to
across it
hear the
yesterday.
words, but he's still okay with running. He just didn't want to hear it though. Yeah, I
Yeah,
understand.
never tell a warrior to run. And I was like, that's not the same feeling that I thought that this was, this
Yeah,
had. But
not the same
yeah,
emotion there.
yeah. But one day, Sai, we put we were waiting for Hiredin. Why can't we wait for Yarul?
Yeah, we're waiting. We're waiting. I haven't given
Yeah,
up hope on this old guy.
and you got it right. You said we're gonna get Gungnir, and lo and behold, the first move. This is the starting point. The thing we were waiting for is the starting
It's
point.
just an appetizer for the Hyruden hype that's to come.
So, guys, the starting point for Yarl is when he starts standing on his own 2 feet. We don't know if he is, you know?
Yeah.
We find out that he's been in a wheelchair this entire time. We just couldn't see it.
You know how crazy it would be if we, like, get a panel of Jarl's feet, and the thing is, he's not crouching, he's not doing any of that. He's been standing this entire time, but when you look at his feet, you can see that there's a hole in the ground. His feet are actually buried in the dirt. So when he pulls himself out, he's like 5 times taller.
Oh my god. So is he an ancient giant then, or is he just a big dude? Like, what's happening?
I don't know. Oda's going to answer that in SBS and say something like, oh, Jarl's been growing his height by sticking his feet in the ground.
Yeah. The thing
sounds like an SBS.
It's crazy because he is in this crouch state. He's as big as Loki is. They were shoulder to shoulder, from what we can tell, when they were walking into the royal castle. So, like, Yarl's pretty big for a giant.
I think it's just one of those things, like, he probably had some really good food growing up. Like, whatever they were serving 300 years ago must have been fire.
Yeah. The world was... I mean, the ores was a thing, too. Maybe it was like he looked up the ores, and because he looked up to him, he got naturally as big. Well, ores is tiny, right, compared to Yarl?
No, I don't think so.
No?
No.
Or is Ors just as big? Oh no, Zoro said Loki is
as big as Ors, right?
Yeah. So then Ors was Ors probably was fighting Yarl's dad, right? Because Ors was 500 years ago. Ors might have raised Yarl. We don't really know.
Yeah. Or maybe like Jarl became a warrior because of Ors. Like he heard the stories of this giant continent pulling monster.
Yeah. And then Yarl's epithet is the continent stopper.
Ooh.
Yeah. He's the one who cements continents in their place. He's a continent planter. Ooh.
He's the end of the world.
Yeah. Oh my god. The world stops when he stands up. Ooh.
Oh, that's good too. Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Jarl legend, man, it precedes us. So we go on to your favorite part of the chapter now. But
this entire thing's favorite. But this part is.
We see that Kashi is unable to fight his best friends because he's such a nice guy. Rhodes and DDT jump in to attack Kashi. We see Scopogaban grab his axe to protect him. Chopper munches on a rumble ball. And then Chopper goes in and slaps the giant. He says, "Knock it off, you jerk." Ooh. The giant laughs at Chopper. Actually, just laughs at him, saying that doesn't hurt. It doesn't even ... And then we see that his shadow starts to separate from his body. His second soul is leaving. And then that is when he is forcefully dragged into the ground and flipped upside down.
So I remember I think I was messaging while I was on stream saying shadow. And even when I said it on stream, people were like, is it his shadow? And I'm like, guys, 100,000%, this is the shadow. And like some people are like demon or whatever. But what is the consensus that you hear about this situation? What are people saying? Because I have no idea. I've been away for the last 2 days.
I have primarily seen people agree that this is indeed a shadow. Some people say soul, but the thing is that we know that shadows and souls are one and the same for the most part.
Yeah. Okay. When they say shadow, do they say like his shadow or Emu's shadow, or what are they talking about?
People don't really go in depth like that.
Okay. All right. So that's perfect because I plan on going in depth. I do have, believe it or not, by end of today it should be out. It should be out.
Oh my god, a Par Vision video? Holy shit.
Yeah, because I don't know if you remember this, but after Domi University got revealed, I was super in on the shadow thing, mainly because of Dory's arm or Brogy's arm. And so I think on the podcast, I was talking heavily about the shadow stuff. I'm pretty sure it
Wow.
was there and not on my stream. And so I had something scripted, and the problem was is that like it'd been so long. Like I think by 11:54, most of it was done. But we were in a Herald flashback, and then rocks got revealed. And so I told my stream this. I was like, what was I gonna do? Post a video where I'm like mainly talking about shadows while like we're on the precipice of God Valley rocks and whatever. And I was like, oh, this is a weird video
That's
to
one of
do as
those
like a
things,
comeback.
man. Like putting out theories is so tough because if you get it wrong, you're memed on.
Yeah.
One, but also like you can work hours and hours on a theory video, cook it up, edit it, and then it just gets disproven or tackled next chapter, and you're just done.
Yeah, well, for me, the most well, yes, the I don't care about being right or wrong or whatever, but I care about a little bit about being relevant, like in terms of like
Yeah.
what we're talking about. And so a lot of my videos line up with what we're dealing with in the chapters. And that used to be because I had a few videos that like all I need to do is like the last 10% and then I could post it if it was I felt that was gonna be relevant. Um, and so, like for example, my Shanks, one of the craziest ones, the Godfather Shanks one. I had posted that one. It had been in the works for like 8 months, and I never posted it because we were mid Wano. We were at Onigashima, and I only posted it because the end of Wano and Film Red was coming out. And then Shanks showed up at the end of Wano, and I was like, "Whoa, this is crazy!" And so, with the shadow stuff, when I saw that, instantly I told my stream, I was like, I'm ending stream early. I only did a 2 hour stream so that I could have some time to like rehash it because it's been 20 chapters since we talked about it. And since then, God Valley, we had the rock stuff. So I hadn't included the rock stuff in there. And I only had the Thriller Bark things, like all the stuff relevant. So because I had that, 100% shadow stuff, like I already have like a good essence of it. But the question mark largely becomes like, okay, like Dory and Brogy, how did their situation relate to this? I'm also curious if Chopper even recognized that because he's dealt with shadows before. It's been a long time, but like maybe we don't know. Gives us a here, but we don't know what he's reacting to because it could just be he's reacting to the fact that the floor is flipping and like a person is being transformed back. He might not have noticed the shadow, right? If the came right afterwards, then it's interesting. But another very interesting thing that I feel like is and this is a part that I didn't mention on stream, and it is part of the video that I feel like is connected. When a shadow leaves your body in Thriller Bark, it was said that you'd be knocked out for 2 days unless someone affected you. And so Zoro, Luffy, and Sanji, they all got their shadows taken, and they were so knocked out that they got transported back to their ship, and they were just propped up asleep, and they couldn't do anything. And so that's why I feel like, especially, there's another reason which we talked about on stream, or no, we didn't talk about stream, but one of the viewers pointed it out, but the shadow kind of leaves his body and then he falls back. And
Yeah.
it's like, why did he fall back down? Like, if he was fine and he's even talking here, it feels like his shadow got removed and he got knocked out and he fell on his back and then he flipped. And so, like, those are the certain things that you have to kind of figure out, like, okay, but then how does that relate to the Dory and Brogy situation? What are we connecting the dots there? And I feel like I have an idea that I won't get into right now because it's easier to see when you have panel comparisons. But the other part that 100% when people on my stream were saying, oh, like, is it a shadow? Are you sure? I was 100% because the sound effect, the peel, that is 1-to-1 to when Moria takes Luffy's shadow. It's the same SFX, 1-to-1. The berry, it's pronounced berry, I'm pretty sure. So, or belly, whichever. And so it's the sound of tape being pulled off of a surface like an adhesive, which is why they put the peel in the viz. So that is exactly the same sound effect that happens when Moria rips your shadow off of you. But yeah, it is. This is Sai was a little bit memeing, but this is this got a crazy reaction from me on stream. I freaked out once I saw that shadow because I was like in shock. It was like seeing Bogart after 17 years. It was like, huh? What do you mean this is like a shadow literally being shown is insane. And on Elbaf, it's pretty exciting because it feels like we're gonna get more. And the other thing that I liked about this was there's a certain thing that I'm not going to bring up, but it's related to Scopper. And if Chopper discovers this, then it kind of feels right because if Scopper was doing something in relation to this and Chopper ran after him to figure it out, maybe we get something where Chopper learns something from Scopper too. And that's why we get this like they're still together. Scopper was about to do something. Chopper is the one to do it. And maybe Chopper does this and then Scopper explains it to him.
Yeah.
And so I'm excited for that. And that would explain why Oda cut it off right here, because it might be right after this we get an explanation from Scopper.
No, yeah, this is my favorite part of the chapter too. I love the Chopper discussion. I've seen a lot of people saying Moria upscale, like, oh, I can't wait for Moria to come back. He has more agency now. And the whole thing about, like, you know, if Imu knows about this weakness per se, again, that could be why they wanted to eliminate Moria back at Marineford. And Moria, like, he's a very interesting character because as time goes on, he just gets better and better. You know, between the whole Kozuki thing, to him, like, losing Absalom, to Perona busting him out and us not seeing him. It's like Oda is planning something with Moria. Like, he's going to come back soon. Well, soon-ish.
Yeah.
And when it comes to this Chopper thing, right? There's just so many ways we could explain it, you know? We could say he's a forest god, or we could say Chopper actually, you know, awakened his fruit maybe, or maybe the rumble balls are doing something. Maybe this is a reversing game mechanic. Like, I went in depth talking about this a lot the other day, and I'm kind of curious, where do you lean right now? Because in my opinion, I like pretty much all the options. My main thing, though, no matter what it is, I hope this does end up being a Chopper buff that he takes off of this island. I think that's my main thing, because we saw that Frankie got a buff last chapter, so I hope that Chopper, this is something meaningful for him. So where are you? What theory has really, you know, tickled your fancy?
I think that I like so a lot of people were like, oh, it's nature power, which, you know, is an interesting thing. I have a theory on like the fourth hockey, and originally it was like that, but those theories were tying it to Chopper's fruit. And so whether or not I agree with where they were going, a lot of people were bringing up the forest god and the Harley text, talking about the taming of the gods. Whether or not that part pans out, I like the idea that the human fruit, which, you know, I put a lot of emphasis on in the Chopper video, but that plays a role, and which would line up with what you're saying. I hope it's a Chopper specific thing. For me, I'm kind of with you. I think there's a lot of options and a lot of them sound good. And for me, I think like Scopper being a part of how Chopper figured this out, I like that, because then it means that it could be applied elsewhere, like other Straw Hats could learn it. But I think that the part that Chopper is specific is Chopper learning it so fast. Chopper being able to do it also, that might be a different thing, right? It might be that like you know, I don't want to lean into this part, but the whole mass conversation, that can play a role, because Chopper went into Monster Point, is bigger. It could be that if Chopper was, you know, in Arm Point or something, or Kung Fu Point, he wouldn't be able to do it. And it might be that like Nami, for example, she might not be able to do this on her own, but with Zeus and applying the technique that Scopper explains, then it's possible, right? It might be that Usopp can't do it without like a huge setup, like he needs a projectile with insane velocity. But I think that it's something Scopper said. I feel like something Scopper told Chopper, and then it helped in this moment. And so right after this, we figure it out. So maybe not Chopper specific, but it's like it goes back to the whole like brain point thing, where like Chopper's able to find the weakness and is able to apply like a technique pretty quickly. And I love that for Chopper too, because he is a character that like literally human point or human form allows him to like get into these forms that are super specific for what he needs, whether jump point, arm point, whatever, the fluffy point. Those are all like very niche moments. And then Kung Fu Point came out, which was like kind of like a catch-all. But you know, hopefully it's something that like Chopper can do. Another example with like Kung Fu Point, maybe with Monster Point it needs one hit, but with Kung Fu Point maybe he like does like acupuncture, he's like hits all the joints and then hits them over.
He's like Neji.
And then the shadow splits. Yeah, something crazy like that. It might be that like it's kind of like the Oars situation where Oars they broke his body, they broke his spine, and it might be that like, oh, once that happened, then the shadow and the body weren't like lined up, and then it's separated. But again, I don't want to talk too much about like those kinds of things because you know, I do think that it's not specific to his fruit, contrary to what a lot of people want it. And but that being said, I like the idea that Chopper's fruit has something specific. I'm just not sure yet about here. And I am curious if like, because you know, Scopper was showing off against the Holy Knights, not against Damiurversi originally. So I am curious to see Scopper in possible, because he did almost take out the axe, and I wanted to see what he could do. And you know, maybe he has an application because we don't know if he's ever confronted Damiurversi before. We know he's confronted Holy Knights, but Rox was taken about Roger and Garp, not Scopper. So had he seen Damiurversi post God Valley? That's a weird one. We're not really too sure. So yeah, so I am interested. This is a favorite.
Yeah, it is.
I got a lot to say on it considering
the
Shadows
town.
theory.
Yeah, for the Chopper thing, like I'm kind of everywhere with it. Like I do like the idea that this isn't something special. It's more so like a technique. That's not bad.
Yeah.
Like I said, as long as it's a Chopper buff, I'm cool with it. I do like the Forest God theory though, mainly because like that is something we learned recently. Like, oh, Forest God tamed demons, and obviously it's been a hot theory for years and years and years now. But Chopper's fruit being something else, that's kind of been an idea well before even Sun God Luffy. And then after we saw Sun God Luffy, that theory came back up, and it's like, okay, this seems more plausible because Blackbeard at Drum Island was looking for something possibly. And then, you know, we have the thing about, oh, like there's a mushroom on this island that might cure everything, but it might not do anything. And then when, you know, they were talking about the Blackbeard pirates, like going after devil fruits, there's like a Chopper gag where he's like, oh, are they after my fruit? And then they're like, no, they don't want your human fruit, man. Why would they want that? So it's like, yeah, like there could have been like decent buildup for this already. I'd say, you know, people say there's no buildup for it at all. I disagree. I'd say there's almost more buildup for Chopper having a different fruit than Luffy having a different fruit. You know, because in Wano, you just hit with like Sun God Nika, Sun God Nika, Sun God Nika. But for Chopper, it's like been a reoccurring like question, like, oh, this fruit's kind of weird.
To that point, it's funny you say that because before Nika was revealed, I had a video saying that it was my Chopper specific video. I was making the series was on every Straw Hat their next power up, and Chopper's was like the revelation that he doesn't have just the human fruit, but possibly like the first human or an original human, or the human ability to turn into every, like if you start further back on the, you know, evolution tree, then is it possible that he could choose any form of human, which was already being demonstrated by his thing. But the end of the video, I was saying I wouldn't be surprised if we find out that his fruit is actually the human fruit model Joy Boy, which at the time when Luffy got revealed, some people were coming back to that video and talking about like, oh, like the Joy Boy fruit was masqueraded. But what's funny in hindsight is Luffy's fruit is the Nika fruit. So, you know, is there a world that like Chopper's fruit was modeled after Joy Boy? And in that, if you were to connect the two dots, maybe Joy Boy didn't have the Nika fruit, but he had the human fruit, but was able to turn into Nika through another avenue, which we know is possible because Bonnie can do it. Bonnie can do from a human standpoint, her own standpoint, she can get into Gear 5 just by imagining that realm, that reality. And so if Chopper's ability, if Chopper's fruit is a human fruit, and this is just playing with the human fruit aspect, the ability to turn into any human, and Nika is a human, then there is a world where he can, I wouldn't say you would even need the awakening, but he would be able to turn into that. And it might not be as free as having the Nika fruit itself, but how did Joy Boy get that fruit if the Nika fruit has been hiding for centuries, right? I didn't have that information when I made that video, and I never updated it. But if the Gorosei are correct, then it's like maybe it could be that Joy Boy didn't even have it. Maybe he had something else, and so they were super confused and like the similar in a similar vein to when Bonnie pulled out Gear 5. They were like, two Nikas? What are we doing? You know what I mean? Like, it could be that Joy Boy had a different avenue for getting it, or his own, or he created it. I wouldn't put it past, the Ancient Kingdom version of Nika to have like an alternate route, right? Like, who's to say that if Vegapunk recreated Luffy's fruit, could we have another Nika fruit out there? Could we have it through Green Blood? There's so many ways to get to that thing, and we're still questioning how awakenings work too. So, I am looking forward to anything Chopper fruit related.
Same.
And that's what gets me excited about this. It's not the fruit, it's not the power, it's not even the technique. It's that he's active.
Yeah.
If we get Chopper,
dude, that's what I joked about. I was like, guys, Oda, remember that Chopper is like a part of the Straw Hats. Like, isn't this effing crazy? Yeah. Like, this is awesome. Like, no matter what happens, like it's a win.
I remember you and I both having the similar reaction when Chopper started running and he jumped off. We were like, he's gonna figure it out. I can't wait for Stopper to tell it. And then it was Conquers Hockey, and we were like, God damn it.
People, it's because I read like so many comments. I saw some people saying that Chopper just got Conquers Hockey in this moment. It's like, guys, I don't think this is Conquers Hockey, y'all. Like, it goes back to the thing where, like, people think that Chopper sumo flipped this guy into the ground. It's like, guys, there's no lightning here, man. There's no lightning. Shadows being ripped apart. I don't think that's it.
Yeah.
But
it might even be because here he falls asleep, he loses consciousness, like it doesn't even ... and he falls back. It might be like something related to like knocking them out. Like, yeah, you can't kill them, but if you can knock them out, then the shadow separates. But yeah, like as far as ideas, I do have an idea, but it takes a little bit to explain. But the other part that is interesting, and someone brought this up on stream, and I don't know, even with my theory, even with the video, like I don't know where to place myself on this, but they were like, maybe there are tiers to it, to Damiroverse, and to a certain extent I kind of can see it, because like we have rocks got straight up diddled, like physically Emu 1-to-1 touched and then flipped the rocks in the air, basically. And it took rocks and Garp, and yes, he has Conquers Hockey out the wazoo, so like obviously it's a different circumstance, but is that Damiroverse different than what Brogy went through? And is Brogy's Damiroverse different than what Dory went through? Because Dory got flipped off of Brogy, right? Or no, Dory got flipped off screen. We don't necessarily know how. But then like Tall Man got flipped by just being in between. Is that like a worse version of what happened to Brogy? And even in this in this chapter, Brogy, Dory, they're like, oh, you guys lost your pride, basically. You empty-headed fools, you should be ashamed of yourselves. Which is interesting because they were just in the same state, but they did break free of it, and people are like, do they have Conqueror's Haki? How did they like regain their consciousness enough to chop off their own heads? So it's like, are there tiers to it? Is one more powerful? Is it based off the person, or is it based off the technique in which they flipped? So I do wonder if that plays a role, right? Because there is differences there. So maybe Chopper can do this to some, but not all. I doubt he could just smack rocks without Conqueror's Haki, and then it does this Roger and Garp would be befuddled. They would be, huh? What do you mean? I guess it must be his mass. Like I don't know what they would come to what conclusion they would come to there. But
one more theory I do want to bring up, and this was brought to my attention by the legendary, you know this person too, Kosuna Koizumi. They frequent the chats. They mentioned, I haven't verified this, but I will take their word at face value. They said that whenever Chopper transforms, at least post time skip, you never really see an emphasis on him eating the Rumble Ball. He just simply transforms. Toei adds it in the anime, of course, but apparently in the manga panels, you don't see him actually eat the Rumble Ball that often, or if at all. But here in this chapter, there is an emphasis on the chomping sound effect, and you see a panel of him doing it. So perhaps the Rumble Ball, because it affects the wavelength of your Devil Fruit, or of your Zoan, maybe the Rumble Ball is working against Domi Reversi in a weird way. And one thing about this too that I really enjoy is that Kureha was the one who helped Chopper develop the Rumble Balls. And we know that Kureha is a very weird character. How does she fit into the story still? We do not know. But she was, lest we forget, the first person to mention the Will of D and Gold Roger's real name. She knows something. Like, for some odd reason, she has the lore. So maybe, going back to like older theories we talked about, maybe Dr. Kureha knows about the Holy Land and Imu shenanigans to some extent. And, Scopper could be like, hey, is that Kureha's special medicine or something? Because, again, this is a weird theory. There's not a lot of legs to back this up. But there was a point in time when people believed that Scopper and Kureha had some sort of connection. So I guess if that's like a thing, it could be tackled next chapter. Like you said, the way Oda cuts it off, it's probably because we're just going to get the explanation ASAP. So we're going to get this next chapter most likely, and Scopper is going to be the guy that, really plants his seed inside of us.
Yeah, it's interesting. Dr. Kureha, like you said, she's a weird character because Oda kind of left her super vague. Like even the way she operates at Merijois, it was so nonchalant and relaxed. Straight up, like what she wore, like basically a free my Chopper, like free my boy Chopper.
Yeah, the
shirt.
2020 Chopper shirt. Wasn't it his bounty poster? What was she wearing?
Yeah, I think it was his bounty.
It was just his bounty poster. Like Kureha is, like I said, I think she was a former Holy Knight. I know there's one guy in the comment section, shouts to you, brother, who constantly says that Dr. Kureha was Maffy. I don't think that was the case. I think Kureha was like an entirely different Holy Knight or Celestial Dragon. But yeah, I think she has a connection.
Whether Holy Knight or not, like I do think that there's more than meets the eye, because Holy Knight, like maybe she's in the family and she got, because I don't know if you could get out of it and just be the way she is, because once you get that mark, like you're kind of cooked. Like, but Shanks is an interesting objection to that line of logic. So the thing with Dr. Kureha is like the nonchalance she has is above anyone else. The knowledge she has is above anyone else. She is also a doctor that was able to bring Chopper to the level that, where I would almost argue that Dr. Kureha might mog like Caesar and stuff. Like low-key, like Caesar might get little broed by Dr. Kureha. It's just that Dr. Kureha doesn't care about this stuff. So, I would be super interested to see Dr. Kureha come back in an active role. But the problem is the air of Dr. Kureha is so similar to the Roger Pirates, where it's a big deal. You can't just put like all those theories where it's like, oh, Scopper's on this island or Scopper's going to show up, so many times. But whenever that did happen, oh, Scopper's the man marked by flames, it was always attached to like something big happening and it being super important because it's Scopper. It makes sense. And so I almost wonder, Dr. Kureha, like, is Oda saving her, or is it just going to be left up like the way we did? But Dr. Kureha, the other part, not just the role, but she's also pretty strong. Like, I feel like, and I might be misremembering the manga, but she almost had zero fear when it came to Wapol.
Yes.
Which
in the anime, she kind of course, this is an assumption, but the way she words the Wapol battle, it sounds like she was ready to take him on, but because Sanji and Luffy were there, she took a step back.
Yeah, and she kicked Sanji hard enough. And yeah, I know Sanji was injured, but she kicked Sanji hard enough where Sanji's like, all right, I'm not gonna even try and mess with her because Sanji's fast, Sanji's strong. But to do damage to Sanji, and she did enough damage where she didn't like permanently cripple him. So like that tells you enough. Like I think she is strong. And like, Sai's also, confirming too. Like I felt like I remember when I first read it, I thought, like, not read it, watched it when I was a kid. I almost was like, is she gonna fight? Like, is she insane? And the way she walked around Wapol, it was as if she was like an ex-Roger pirate or something. It's like, oh, this is just some kid who doesn't know how to use their devil fruit or something like that. Like, or regarding Wapol. And so who knows? Who knows? And that's what I mean by Oda put Kureha's character in, like, she didn't need to be a full doctor. Luke was there. She didn't need to be Chopper's mentor because Luke was there. She didn't need to fight because Luffy and Sanji were there. Like, and she didn't need to do much more about the D thing because the arc ended and whatever, and we jumped into other stuff. So it's like, and then Mary Joie, it's like, oh, we didn't need to talk about Kureha or focus on her because there's so many other things to focus on, right? All those times we went back to Mary Joie, there wasn't a time where we're talking about like Leo and Sai getting like cooking Charlos, and then also talking about like how Dr. Kureha had no, like, to a point where when we revisited Mary Joie, I don't think we even saw Dr. Kureha. In the chaos of all of that, everyone's talking about how horrible it was or how scary it was and how big. Dr. Kureha was never mentioned, I don't think. And that's kind of wild when you think about it, Like, admirals were fighting, like, and what, Dr. Kureha is just like, yeah, I could sense them a mile away. Those little youngins. They don't even, like, I'm almost imagining Fujitora, like, fighting, and then him sensing, like, a grand threat. And Dr. Kureha's there, and it's like, oh my god, that's the fire leg of the West.
So
some crazy
I pulled it up.
That.
Chapter 146. Wapol shows up. Kureha's out there with all the boys. And Sanji says, I wasn't interested in these guys. Are you going to fight them too, old lady? And she says, I suppose if you can't handle them. And then that's aura, dude. Like, I really think that she was going to beat these guys. And what's funny, too, is that when Sanji blocks the afro, which, this is where he finds out that it's static electricity, Kureha knows well in advance that, Sanji's cooked. Because the minute Sanji blocks it, Kureha says, you're in trouble. And then everybody's like, wait, what? So, like, I don't know, she's knowledgeable, man. Like, Kureha, that is why, like, during this Herald flashback, I did expect to see her. Go back to the bingo sheets when I made my predictions. I was like, yeah, we're going to see Kureha, we're going to see Kureha, we're going to see Kureha. Never saw her. Like, where does she fit in? It's got to be with the God Knights or Celestial Dragons. Like, that's the only thing left in the story that we haven't really, like, fully tackled. Like, I thought she was going to be a Roger Pirate. Like you said, she has that same aura. Didn't happen. Thought she was going to be a Rocks Pirate. Didn't happen. Where the hell does she fit in?
Yeah.
And she's old, too. I think that's another big thing. She's very old. And that's, I was like, oh, maybe she's, immortal like the God Knights. And she does have a very distinctive laugh that goes back to an old anime about like this, it was like a yokai boy who goes around befriending them and, purifying like demons. And it's like, dude, that's such a crazy pull. So I did expect her to be like a God Knight. And I still expect her to be one. But we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, the interesting thing also, we were just talking about kings in their primes and wish we got to see them. Dr. Kureha is that person for Drum Island, like, straight up. She has to be some kind of, like, on demon time. Like, there's no way she wasn't crazy. Like, she, like, Shaki, you know what I mean? Like, we find out that Shaki was the Empress, Kuja Pirates, was the center point of God Valley. Like, Kureha had that back then, but almost felt even more competent, right? Like, we don't have, like, Shaki was another one of those characters, like, the D initial, right? Any character you'd have saying that is insane, right? Like, that, at the end of the day, like, that's why all those theories where it's like, oh, she had the immortal youth surgery, I'm never like, nah, I'm not that, like, whether or not I agree, she's a character where it's like, you know what? Maybe, it could be, she's always that character. And I'm just waiting. And again, the Herald flashback was an interesting entry point. It could have made a lot of sense, but like we didn't even get Mother Caramel, so I don't even know. I don't even know
Yeah,
with
I
that
don't
one.
know. Like, what is Oda doing with that one?
Yeah, and also she's like basically the same age as like Oimo Kashi and stuff like that. She's 141, and they're like 150 or something like that. So it's like she's their contemporary. She knew the world that they grew up in. So it would be interesting to have seen her.
Yeah, what is up with Kureha? That is like the major question right now. Again, thank God Oda remembered that Chopper is a thing. So
Yeah.
we move on now, and we see that your favorite character has been taken care of. Killingham, dude, this is crazy. I love it because, I talked to you, Brago, and a bunch of other people, and everybody was like looking forward to the Sanji Killingham battle. It's like, oh, it's gonna be kind of nuts, Sanji might get conquered, Zaku might see a spark of it here or there. We might get the Gabon flashback. This is gonna be like a nutso battle. Nope, he's just done. He's
Off-screen.
beheaded, off-screened. His bubble regenerated, which is kind of funny. Frankie's tying up his legs, and it's like, yep, he's cooked, man. The way Sanji talks in this chapter is kind of like my reaction exactly. He says, so these are the knights that protect the Holy Land? Frankie, is the community where Frankie's like, oh, I think we're just too strong. Sanji, Luffy's an emperor now. But even Sanji's like, yeah, I like to believe that, but it's sickening to think that Elbaf was brought to its knees by this scum. And it's like, yeah, I don't know, dude.
True.
Like it's like a back and forth where it's like, yeah, they're very weak, but we're strong, but like they're kind of too weak. And even Killingham, this is the Viz official, he says, that's right, maggots. Keep overlooking us. And it's like, it's weird because it's like, yes, the characters are saying it, but also Oda's the one like writing the dialogue. So it's Oda acknowledging that the God Knights are not doing great. Like, I wonder if he will pull it back and give them like a buff or something, or if Killingham's just, is he memeing? Is he serious? I like to imagine there's a buff coming. I hope so.
Yeah. Which is funny because the predictions I had for this chapter on your spoilers channel, like right after we recorded, that's when we got that Oda thing saying that 1178 is going to be when the tables turn. Had I seen that, I would have pushed off my predictions by a chapter, and then I probably would have been spot on. But I thought this was very interesting, off screening Killingham's thing. And yeah, the dialogue was crazy because it's like, are we expecting a buff, or is it just going to be Emu carrying, right? Like Jinbei goes, be careful, one of them is still unharmed. But like, Killingham says, keep overlooking us. I feel like you can't say that if you're not confident,
Yeah, and I mean, he could just be a shit talker. I mean, that's also a reality. Like, he could just be shit talking. Like, a lot of villains say the same thing, and it's like, I just don't know. I want to believe. Because it's like what Sanji says. Like, I'd like to believe we are that strong. And, are these really the knights, though? Like, is this really all they got? This reminds me of my favorite anime, Akagi. Akagi, it's a mahjong anime, classic. Honestly, the mangaka for that and Kaiji, very like famed author in Japan. Here in America, doesn't really take off, but in Akagi, he goes up and he fights the main villain. Akagi is super busted. He's like the Gojo of the universe for some reason, and he's destroying the main villain. And at one point, they're like, "Oh, Akagi, we're literally winning. Like, we're good. We're home free." And Akagi's like, "No, like it looks easy, but hear me out. Could this really be the guy that's been ruling the underworld for the past 100 years? Like, he looks like a cornered rat, but like, surely there's more to him than this. There's got to be a phase 2. And I feel the exact same way. Like, there's got to be something more. Like, these cannot be the knights that have been protecting the Holy Land for the past 900. Well, granted, we don't know how old Killingham is, but, like, surely Emu has one ace up his sleeve for these guys.
Yeah. I mean, I did expect like so killing him was an interesting one because I think I said verbatim that in terms of the prediction I was saying that before the buff they're all I already said Killingham was defeated because he had his head kicked in.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't think that Oda, or it didn't feel like Oda was going to put Killingham so far down he'd be in the same state as Sommers because Sommers was talking so much, shit that like it felt right to put him that far down, like underneath Loki's foot, smacked by Luffy, like all that stuff. He was kidnapping kids. Killingham wasn't being that offensive. But then we get this chapter, and Oda is kind of more disrespectful to Killingham than Sommers. Like he's tied up, his legs are separated from his body. Sanji's sitting on his like it seems like his upper body, and then Jinbei has his head tied up and just carrying him like and they're treating him like Buggy almost because his bara bara fruit they had to capture him like this essentially, and so it feels weird that Killingham was done this way, and I feel like he's the character that's like my line is there. I feel like Killingham's not going to be put in the same place as Sommers, where it's like fake, like like when Sommers showed up and he missed his missile shots, and he's still like, "Oh, I'm this bad, cool, bad guy." It's like, brother, you can't be missing at stationary targets and still talking the talk. Like we're watching you miss. And like Killingham, I didn't feel like we do this to him. That's why Oda off-screened it. But I wish we didn't off-screen them. I wanna know, is he full of hot air or not? And that's why Oda off-screened it, because now I'm looking at these words, I'm like, underestimate as well you can, maggots, and I'm like, maybe they're overestimating you, Killingham. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's hard to say, but at the minimum, Jinbei is like one of them is still unharmed, and I want to hold on to that. And we kind of did. At least the next part, it still makes sense, what with Emu and Gunko, what their body is doing. It would be crazy if there was an alternate universe where the next situation happened and Gunko was being thrashed around. Oh my god. I don't know if I'd be able to finish the chapter if I had seen that. But it is an interesting state because not only did they tie, because like my part of this that doesn't really line up is I thought it was regeneration. Like, is Killingham really being stopped from just can he not, just by tying up the body, is that enough to stop him from just growing it back from his head and just like getting rid of, because in fiction, I've seen regeneration like that, where you could just grow back the rest of your body. Like, is it not like Deadpool kind of, where Deadpool can just grow back the rest of his body regardless? Like, or is it like, Majin Buu can also do that too? Or does he need to have his original body parts? Because when Sommers was doing it, it almost felt like only Scopper's separation was able to do that. Because when Gunko got her body blown off, it's not like she brought back the rest of her body. It's that the body just regrew from a part of it. So, like, did they do something specific to stop Killingham from regenerating? I was a little confused by that. I didn't sit on that, but, I was a little interested in what you had to say.
Yeah, I mean, regeneration is always kind of, I'd say it's pretty wonky in a lot of animes, like in how they depict it. I feel like I've seen regeneration like this, like Killingham, where if you do just split the body apart, they're pretty much cooked. So I don't really have any problems with it.
Yeah, but with Sommers, it was like Sommers only when what's his face, like, but I guess they never separated him like this. But like, it's kind of interesting because then it's kind of similar to just Buggy. It's like regeneration, but it's like, yeah, but if you just keep his arm, if you don't blow it up and keep his arm separate, as long as you don't destroy the original body part and keep it separate, he's cooked. He can't do much.
Yeah.
So, which was interesting because Sommers was like holding his hand. It's not regenerating, but it's not like Stopper cut the arm off and then destroyed the arm. The arm was there. And then he was like, "Ah, it's not regenerating. Why isn't it not regenerating?" So I always thought that it was like, it wasn't just simply put the arm back and then, it'd be good. So I am interested to see what this means for killing him. Is he because another version of this is that he's just acting. Like he's acting like he's like there's
I
no
wish.
benefit.
I fucking wish part. Yeah. He's pretending to be caught. Yeah. I hope. That's some shit I would say. Yeah.
No, I mean, people said this with Sommers. Remember when Scopper showed up? People came to me and like, "Oh, he's acting." That's a different scenario because him acting scared against Scopper of all people. What would that do against Scopper? That wouldn't. Oh, Scopper's not gonna kill him because he's afraid. Like what?
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense, right? He's getting cooked, and and if he's acting like he's getting cooked, it does no benefit unless he cooks Scopper, which I didn't believe would happen. In this scenario, I'm not saying that like, oh, there's not any benefit for him to just get out and win. It might be that like he isn't strong enough to outright beat all of them right now, which would be like, oh, I don't need to escape right now. They're not gonna do anything. They can't beat me. They can't kill me per se. So I'm just gonna stay like this until I'm back, like with Emu or whatever. Because it might be that he recognized that like, oh, like Sanji, Jinbei, Frankie, this is a little bit above my weight class, It would be like a Holy Knight trying to take on all the Roger Pirates. Would you just, would you try that? Or would you just like stay good until you're not and just act a fool? I would say that this is different, but, I get how it sounds like cope, but hear me out, guys. You guys should know by now, I have no reason to cope for the Holy Knights. I have every reason to goof on them. They are the goofiest. And so I will goof on them. But in this scenario, I'm like, it's not lining up. The regeneration part isn't, unless Sanji and Jinbei pulled out Conqueror's Haki like Scopper did. I don't really fully get the whole not bringing back the part, because Sommers felt like he was ready to just pop out an arm, but he couldn't because Scopper used Conqueror's Haki. So I don't know what happened here, but we also have Chopper smacking the shadow out of people without Conqueror's Haki. So I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just an observation.
Yeah, something's going on here. Also, speaking of Sanji, week 3 of the One Piece popularity poll is out, and Sanji is first place in Japan right now.
Oh.
Yeah,
maybe it says he's sitting on Killingham.
Took the spot over Zoro and Luffy this time. It's pretty cool stuff. It's always interesting seeing like how these popularity polls roll out. Of course, there's still a couple more weeks before it's over, but yeah, shout out to Sanji, man. Hopefully Killingham does get up. Hopefully there is like a round 2, just so we can get like the whole Sanji conquers Haki Scopper Gabon flashback. I know it's still weird to call it a flashback considering it was like, a couple chapters ago, but it's a thing, man. One day.
One day.
So we move on now, and we see that Nami has been feeding Zeus black balls this entire time, building Zeus up so that he can put out the wildfires here in Elbaf. And I do wonder if Nami's going to use Zeus for more than just that. Like, Zeus, yeah, sure, he could put out the fires, but I mean, it's also a thundercloud, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like Luffy and Loki could really use that during the battle against Emu, perhaps. So I'm going to keep an eye out on Nami. I feel like all the Straw Hats so far have gotten a really good focus. Nami still hasn't really gotten hers yet. So maybe something's there.
Maybe.
We see that Loki and Luffy show up. Nami's mad at them because, they're setting the tree on fire. We get a funny Luffy Ragnar panel. Loki blasts the hell out of Luffy. Luffy survives. Says, hey, if that worked, I'd kick your ass. Moving on now, we go over to Branch 8. We see that Brook is still around Gunko-Emu, still fighting. Brook actually has a sword in his chest. Don't really know where that came from, but yes, I guess Emu like spawned a sword out of nowhere and just stabbed him, put him in the ground. And Usopp has also been beaten pretty badly as well. They got dealt with off screen, but we see the ending of this battle as Usopp calls Emu a coward because their plan is scummy, cowardly, and cheap. Because what they're doing is that they're over here using Domi Reversi, pretty much voicing how we all feel. Like, we get it. You know, Emu's the rule of the world. They don't want to dirty their hands. But at the same time, like, where's your own strength? Usopp shoots out a Skull Blast Grass. Skull Blast Grass. It's usually Skull Grass Bomb, but weird translation here. We see that Emu spawns in front of Usopp, puts out their hand, and says fire. Usopp does it, and they're all knocked unconscious. And Emu, man, they're just going around ore farming. I mean, even with Brook, another new ability, but Emu throws out their hand and stops Brook dead in their tracks. Emu is just mogging on these guys, dude. How do you feel about this whole, scenario? Do you like it? Why is it your favorite part of the chapter?
I like it because Emu. Here's the problem: like Emu's being strong, sure. Like this doesn't. Anything I say, or even on stream, people are like misunderstanding it. Like Emu doesn't look bad from a strength standpoint, from my opinion, but like from a mental, like the mental side, it's kind of interesting because I look at this similar a little bit to Mocktown, Bellamy, and Luffy, and the chapter 1, Shanks versus Higuma, where it's like words are words, and you don't need to like react overbearingly. And the overbearing part here is Emu contradicting themselves. Emu saying that okay, let's see what the viz says. One who rules did not sully their hands with such tawdry
Tosh.
What in the SAT word is this? Showy but cheap and poor quality. Okay. That's okay. I'm just gonna go with the TCB one.
Definitely.
A dominant ruler never sullies their own hands. Okay, so with that line, it's ironic because Emu just did. Emu didn't even need to. As shown right afterwards, Emu body blocked the skull bomb grass, and Usopp self-imploded, right? And I get that. People are focusing on that, like, oh my god, Usopp's so silly. He took himself out. I look at that, I'm like, what would have been the resolution? Usopp versing Emu. There was no point of this that he was like, I'm going to win this. He came here because he didn't want to leave Brook alone. He didn't, whether or not they won isn't the thing. It's like he abandoning when he noticed that Brook was alone fighting somebody, he went there like anybody on the Straw Hats would have done, right? Usopp going on his own, he's like, everyone else is full. Everyone else has their hands full. I'm the only one who can like offer the help right now. So he goes there. That part is the brave part. Him going there and not being able to win, yeah, you could look at that like, oh, that's silly, whatever. But there wasn't really much options for him to do. I know we're looking at the situation like, oh, like the Straw Hats are way on top, but like they didn't know that. You know what I mean? Had Vegapunk or Lilith not come out and fix the fire, they would have needed all hands on decks. But then, you know, Lilith fixed the fire within a panel. So like, when I look at this, the main thing is Usopp said a bunch of words, very good dialogue. And, you know, a lot of the things that we were also saying, and, you know, you tack on I'm not going to say annoyingness, but like the overpowered nature of Domi Reversi to the point that like rocks had no ability to stop it, and it was instant, and we don't know any of the like thing there. It is true. A lot of it's like, bro, like, if you're so strong, just do it on your own. It would have been faster, honestly, if Emu just like went to Yarul themselves, established themselves, right? The tactics that they're using is very interesting, considering the fact that when they were doing in Herald's time, it's like, yeah, Herald is strong enough to fight all of the Holy Knights, apparently. And so, maybe not win, but like, yeah, if they sieged them, even Emu was like, bro, now we know whoever's strong enough to fight Herald will kill all of the Holy Knights. So that's why you don't go, right? But it's like now, it's like you could investigate. Loki was tied up. You could have just taken it over on your own. You didn't need to do all these shenanigans, which is funny because Emu showed up under that pretense. Like, yo, why is it taking you guys so long, right? And so I almost laughed. I was just like, bro, Emu could honestly sit back and be like, listen, I just got here. These weren't my plans. Like, I would have been done with you guys. Yeah. Like, haven't you noticed ever since I showed up, things have been going pretty steamingly well until you meddling kids, all that stuff, right? But jokes aside, um, Usopp goes up to like aim or whatever, and in the words, and we obviously know that Emu's hitting Usopp, but Emu literally smacks Usopp and then says they'll never sully their hands.
Isn't Emu's hands? These are Gunko's hands.
It's still the point is that we saw Gunko dispatch these straw hats without her hands. She used the devil fruit. You know, it's crazy because that the irony of that is Gunko had the dominance so much so she stood there and the arrow was just doing everything. You know, and was it Jinbei punched Gunko or punched Brook and Brook stabbed Jinbei, and it's like Gunko didn't do anything, and that
Do you
was
think
an
there's a
interesting,
reality where Emu's having a lot of fun here? That's why, like, they're getting their hands dirty.
I want to know if that is the case, right? Like but the pretense that they showed up under is like, what's taking you so long? We saw Mare draw not on flames, so it's like, was that a joke? Like, what was happening there with that? And is the urgency still there? Because you showed up and you said you guys are taking too long, and then you're taking too long. You know what I mean? And then you do this stuff, and for me, I brought up the comparison. I was like, guys, I get it, because like if this was JJK, Usopp would be dead. And that's where we're in the One Piece world. And Usopp doing this is brave. Whether like Emu and Gunko don't want to kill him, if this was JJK, he would be dead.
Dude,
instantly.
if this was JJK,
and Luffy would be walking up on a corpse.
Literally, it would be that scene with spoiler for the anime. I'm not gonna say it, but there's like that one character where you show up and their head's on a stick. It would literally be that.
Yes. Yeah, it would be that. And you'd get Luffy in Kurama mode. He'd be taken over by like the will of Nika, lost in the sauce and crashing out. And then Loki would be trying to talk him down off the ledge. And meanwhile, Emu would be parading Usopp's head around by his nose. That's what you would get. And I get it. That's what a lot of people like are constantly coming in with, like, but this is the modern, this is the modern situation. Like, Usopp sucks. And it's like, yeah, I get it. But in the context, he did a brave thing and he said a lot of stuff that was true. But at the same time, you don't look at it like, oh, Emu can't kill Usopp. No, Emu can. It's just One Piece, so Emu didn't.
Yeah.
So, a lot of people are looking at that as a demerit to Emu. I can't readily go that far.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, that's how we have to view it, right? This is like One Piece, so the chance of Oda killing Usopp or any of the Straw Hats, very low. Like, it's not happening.
Yeah. They're not gonna get resurrected like Kuma.
Yeah, if this was like a modern
we can't even get rid of Kuma.
shonen anime or just any other anime, Brook would probably be like bone meal at this point, and Usopp, like you said, he'd be dismembered into like 10 different body parts. Like it would just be done.
Yeah. And to say that Emu couldn't do that is wrong. Is just complete wrong, because it's just, we've seen Emu blow off Brogy's arm, bro. If she used that shotgun
on
here,
Usopp, he'd be dead.
Usopp would be questioning his entire life, like, damn, I'm really not that sharp of a shooter. She is, like, that would have been a crazy scenario. But obviously the domination part is at the end of it, Gunko Emu just reestablished the body and didn't put up hands after the fact, and just was like, fire, blah, 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 and then boom, explosion, and then, it is what it is. So I really like the dialogue. I really like the sequence. I just am waiting on Emu to prove that Emu is insane. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and the last page is where it's like, you're setting yourself up. You're setting yourself up for greatness. Can I see it? I want to see it. And is it just you, or is it everybody? Are the Holy Knights in mass going to get a buff?
And another thing
is
too,
what
but
Killingham said true?
The whole thing with One Piece not killing its characters, it's not exactly like a demerit to the series per se. I feel like that's just what One Piece has always been.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
One Piece has never been a story about like, oh, like, is this character gonna die? You know, is Zoro gonna die next arc? Is Sanji gonna make it? No, like, that's never been like a genuine question.
Yeah. I mean, and like it's always been a thing that Oda has been less fight focused and more story focused. And when you have a series like JJK where you are very particular about putting characters in certain places, because if they are in the wrong place at the wrong time, they will die. The problem with doing that is that you would never get the moment where Usopp can have dialogue like this. And that's very important, where a super weak character is talking down condescendingly to a god. There's a lot of meaning that you can derive from that you would never get if you had it super realistic, where he would just be dead instantly because that character gets pissed off and kills him, right? And it's like, yeah, I know you want it to be super realistic, but that's the point of a story. It's to show you things and to teach you things that, like, what try to say what Usopp said is wrong. Like, look back at the thing and it's like, no, he's kind of right. It's just like he's not. Is it fair that he's not strong enough to do it? It's like, yeah, I mean, Emu's been cooking for 800 years if we're talking about that, it's not really that fair. In reality, Emu should be ruling this world and there should be no
opposition.
Should be no counter. Yeah, like, but something Emu is doing is allowing it, and we saw a glimpse of it with the likes of the Gorosei and Saturn who's looking straight up at a metal op, Emmett, who's depicted on the mural, and it's like, what could this be? It's like, okay, is Emu dumb, or is there a reason? Is there a grand design? I want to know that stuff before we figure out the rest. And then the way this chapter ends, I mean, is this the same thing as Sommers? Sommers was ignoring Nika and Nidhogg, not even aware. Is that Nika? We don't even know if he knew it was Nidhogg. And so it's like, Emu did the first thing.
Does he even know
like,
who
no,
hit him?
I know who these guys are. But now the question is, can you handle them, So I wonder
too. I mean, that's the thing, right? Like, the way this chapter ends, Emu's not running. They literally say, hey, this battle will divide the world. They're staying and fighting, because that was a big thing. Like, do they leave the minute they see Loki and Luffy, or do they actually chill here and actually battle it out? They're gonna battle it out. Until, of course, they probably get booted from Gunko's body. I feel like that's the most tame way to say, like, Emu wins but loses. Like, yeah, they probably win the fight, but Gunko sends him away or something like that. Somebody severs the connection. I'm cool with it. Again, it's like the God Knight thing. There's a way to make everybody look good here. Granted, I think Emu should be just so overwhelming, though, that maybe Luffy and Loki don't look good. We'll see.
Have we seen Emu using Gunko's devil fruit in the body? I don't think we have, right?
We have.
We
saw it when they not first took over, during the Brook thing. They used Gunko released Brook from the bindings, and then Emu immediately tried to snap it back.
Right. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I think we've been saying this for a long time. Once Emu got introduced into the arc directly, and I know, guys, it's through Gunko's body, but this is as direct as any other, like, this is the most direct that we've seen it. Like, they're talking, they're making decisions, they're doing so much. And once that happened, I've been saying the same thing over and over again. When people brought up Usopp, I was like, guys, don't expect anything out of Usopp, because it would be weird if Usopp got a 1-up on Gunko. But truthfully, this moment and the way it went through, it felt like the Douglas Bullet situation.
Yeah.
But it's weird because, like, I almost wonder, what did Usopp set up for this? And, like, could it possibly do anything to Gunko to Emu? Because in the Douglas Bullet situation, it was very different. It was like, oh, this giant seed was planted in and it overtook Douglas Bullet. It surprised him. It locked him down, just the pivotal moment for Luffy to, get out a proper attack. And so, like, is that what's going to happen here? But even that would feel crazy that Luffy or
And
if
people
Usopp
think
was
that
able to
Usopp
do
was too
anything to
overpowered in that movie, by the way. I was looking up discussions and everybody was like, yeah, so, why is he so broken in that movie? And it's like, yeah, I agree. I mean, I don't know how the hell he's over here, suspending Douglas Bullet midair. Like, I feel like Usopp has no attack output like that, but sure.
Yeah, yeah. And it'd be wild if you saw like him doing that to Scopper Rayleigh. There's no world where it's like a Water 7 moment where Usopp has like even a moment of like respite against these Roger pirates. And so like in the same point here, it's like even if you were to do 1-to-1 and Usopp creates that opportunity for Luffy or Loki to do that, it would feel odd. And the only allowance that I feel like makes sense is the situation that Brook created, which was when Gunko started taking over the body. If Luffy and Loki then do something and it ejects Emu out of the body, then I'm like, okay, that's not a demerit on Emu. That's some wacky thing that Emu couldn't, like, how would Emu know that Brook knew that, like, who Gunko was and was able to, like, crack her psyche? That's not a fair thing for Emu to, like, combat, you know? And so, like, I think that's what we're gonna get, and then Emu gets ejected. That's the safest thing, and we've been kind of talking about like Emu getting ejected and how. Is it like, oh, like Usopp scares Gunko's like real body? But we saw Brook broke her body out so much that Gunko was able to release her arrows across the board. And so it feels like something like that is gonna happen. And we have the two characters I feel like are the best suited right here, Usopp and Brook. And it's like the Douglas Bullet thing where it's like Luffy's gonna fight, Emu's gonna be like, why are you doing this like useless thing? You know you can't win. And then Luffy hits us with the line is like, that's the funny thing about being humans. You think we're weak. But then he like waits for it, and then Usopp and Brook do one thing, and then like, Bink Sake or something, and then Gunko just breaks free, and then Luffy and Loki hit him with the Conquer Hockey Blast, and then Emu gets ejected. That's like, I don't know, 3 chapters from now, probably.
Yeah, unless like the God Knights get
Yeah.
back up and there's like a whole round 2, but yeah, it
Yeah,
should be
yeah.
settled
Then it's like 6
relatively
chapters.
fast.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, man. I mean, hopefully Emu can box. Hopefully Emu just actually shows us why they're the leader of the world. But, man, with how the God Knight's been performing, I don't know. We'll see, we'll see. Good Usopp moment, though. But I do think that Usopp will get more eventually. He's definitely going to get back up. Kind of like the Douglas Bullet thing, he got back up later. I think the same thing's going to happen here. Maybe he wields Ragnar since he's, nearby Loki now. Maybe he just lands a really good blow that saves Luffy and Loki. Kind of like how Usopp saved Law and Luffy from Sugar. It could be a somewhat similar situation, except, less gaggy. We'll see.
I did have a question. This is actually huge off of the Viz, and I wonder what is more correct. I'll wait for the Will of Marco, I guess, or who is it?
The Will of Marco.
He
does good translations.
So in TCB, and I saw this before we started recording, but Emu goes, Nika, Nidhogg, submit or perish. This battle shall divide the world. Whereas in the Viz, it goes, thou canst obey or die. Nika, Nidhogg, this battle will divide the world. What does that mean? Thou canst obey or die.
Canst obey. I'm assuming it's like, you either obey me or die still, but I mean, canst is a very odd word.
Is that saying, like, is Stephen Paul implying that they can't obey and Emu can't kill them?
Yeah, does Stephen Paul know what
Canst?
Canst? Does it?
Because that's a huge difference.
I mean, okay, canst means
perish.
can.
Canst means can?
Yeah, it's not can't. It's can.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
I know it looks weird, but it makes sense. That's why I was like, I'm pretty sure it's the same thing.
So thou can obey or die. Okay. I looked at that. I was like, okay, I'm just gonna ask Sai if he's the English lore guy. I'm gonna.
Yeah, I'm the English lore. Yeah. Known Englishman, Chinese guy Sai here, back at it today.
Wait, have you seen those videos where the guy, like a Chinese guy, walks up to a group of Chinese people and he has a black guy translate the
I've
Chinese? He's
seen
like, "Hey,
that.
yo."
Yeah, those are funny. And then they also do like the vice versa one too, where it's like the
Yeah,
exact
yeah.
opposite. Like they have like a black guy brings in a Chinese guy, and then the Chinese guy is like speaking Chinese to like an English person. Like, wait, what the hell is going on? I love those
That's just so
videos.
funny. Yeah. Oh God. Yeah, thou can't. Okay, so Stephen Paul was just hitting us with the old
Yeah,
English.
he's hitting
Thou
us with the old
canst.
English. Stephen Paul gets a lot
Wait, so
wrong.
then
This one's
what's
fine.
cannot? Is that would be cannot? Like what would?
Maybe. Yeah, I don't know what cannot would be.
Yeah,
Canst.
I would. In my defense, right? I feel like there's gonna be a lot of Viz readers that read this and be like a little confused because canst
I could see
feels.
that. Yeah, I will
Yeah.
admit you made me do a double take, so I can see a lot of people getting confused
Yeah.
about that one.
Okay, so this TCB was a little bit more clear. Submit or perish. Now, my question, and this was honestly spawned because of this, the thou canst obey. I didn't like fully think about the submit part. But when they say submit, do you think that like emu means like an abyss mark?
No,
No, it just
nah.
means like drop your. Because I was wondering, I was like, do they would they have two openings? Is there two openings?
Well,
Could
okay,
what would
granted,
it
I
be
feel
like?
like if Luffy and Loki said, "Please let us join," I think Emu would like jump at the chance. To be fair, I
Yeah,
don't think
yeah,
Emu
yeah.
would say no, but I don't think Emu's like I don't think realistically in Emu's mind they're like, "Oh yeah, they wanted a Bismarck. Yeah, this is realistic." Surely not.
Yeah, like he goes, you can obey or die, and they're like, sure. And they're like, wait, what?
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
I
mark
jump
us
at the
up.
chance,
Those
dude.
are hella cool. Luffy goes like, I actually really like that tattoo design. I was thinking about getting it.
Yeah.
Do
Hey,
you
let me tell you,
do you,
man, like Luffy and Loki, they're better than me. I'd say, yo, let me join, man. Come on. Got a
and we
spot
we
in the
talked about
team?
this before. Um, do you think that Emu could mark them? Even if they could, like
Against their
here,
will, I don't think
do you
so.
no, no, not that, but like, let's say, in the hypothetical they could. Do you think it can happen here? Just like it's just a drawing or whatever, or does it need to happen at the Holy Land, like in the temple, whatever? Because they walked Harold into the thing for like a whole ceremony type thing. Does that need to happen? Do you think, or can it happen on the field?
I think it can happen on the field. I think all
That's
that's
an
required is
interesting
Emu. At
one.
first, I'd say like, oh, maybe there's like a special ritual room, but no, they did it just in the throne room. I think all that's required is Emu. I think Emu could do it here.
Yeah, yeah, because I was
And
wondering if
imagine if
that would
that
be
was like
like
a
a separation.
stipulation where it's like, oh, we need Emu's real body or something. I guarantee you, Emu would be like, hey guys, when does the next boat leave? I'm gonna go recruit Loki and Luffy. Like, yeah, they're coming,
Yeah,
dude. Yeah, 100%.
that'd be the that would and there's some reason to think about that, but that was like they kind of did this with like Doflamingo, for example, right? Like a fake out kind of thing where they're like, oh, leave the warlords, right? And it was like bait. It was kind of bait to get the person out in about. And I'm like, that would be an insane bait if Loki goes like, I'll join the Holy Knights. And it's like, yeah, but it has to happen here. And so then it's like, is that a way to bait Emu out?
That would
Because
bait them
Emu would come.
hard. They would come, yeah. Like dead
Yeah,
ass, like genuinely, if Loki or Luffy wanted to join, but their stipulation was that Emu had to come to Elbaf, they'd do it, man. Like they'd probably roll out the fucking red carpet. Like they'd probably have like an admiral escorting them, like a Kainu's up there or some. Yeah, yeah. You would. I do not miss out on a chance like that. That's like saying, hey,
yeah,
I'll give you $1 million if you come to CVS. It's like, I mean, could be a trap, but I mean,
sure.
$1 million. That's something
Yeah. And
going.
Emu, like it's not that hard for the Holy Knights to get here. If Emu needs to teleport, they could teleport. But yeah, like you said, they could just unleash the entire. Because the thing is, it's like yeah, Loki and Luffy are strong, but like if you did another Egghead, but you brought all like the admirals, it's like okay, that's a little bit different. That's a scary situation. At the end of the day, like we talked about this. Loki is at the end of the day a devil fruit user. It's not unbeatable. He was beaten. So like it's not. We like to
And
talk
plus,
about
this is
it's
Emu,
so
right? Like top one of the
heavy-handedly
verse
on.
right now. So it's like, yeah, there's not too much to worry about.
Yeah, yeah. And so it is interesting to think like, could there be a scenario where it's like that's the way to get Emu out? Otherwise, you have to siege Mare Draw, which is if they're expecting it, you could fortify that way crazier than Marineford. So it's like, sieging Mare Draw versus baiting Emu out. Yeah, wonder if there's a way that comes into play.
Yeah,
But
but there's also a big chance that Emu cannot leave Marie Joie, which that's still like a big ongoing thing.
yeah, yeah. I do wonder.
Yeah.
Makes you wonder what's the deal with that.
So what are we expecting with the Emu battle next chapter? Emu just dominates, right?
Uh, that's it's tough. It's tough because I feel like Emu's like, oh, I don't need to do anything. Like maybe Emu does stuff on
Well,
their own.
they said, hey, they said that this will be a battle, though. I mean, it sounds like they're willing to get their hands dirty. Like they know that they just can't sit back and relax with this one, though. There's hope.
Yeah, like I don't think okay, Gorosei is not Gorosei would be obnoxious. I would not like that. If Emu's gonna do anything, they do it themselves. But I want to think that like there's like the problem is Gunko is kind of like Emu has to stay in Gunko, I think, because Gunko, as soon as Emu leaves, Gunko's gonna go to Brookside. That's what it felt
Yeah.
like. And so Emu has to be the one fighting. And then the question mark is like, is Emu just holding back in Gunko's body? Because when I imagine like Killingham and Somers getting buffs, I kind of imagine not like a yokai level thing, but like something along those lines, or they get like a transformation, or they get like super yoked out. But do I see that for Gunko? Maybe. Um, do I see them dominating? It's tough against Luffy and Loki. It's like not even the Gorosei were five of the Gorosei, they didn't look that great against Luffy. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, he ate him. But like at the end of the day, when Dory and Brogy showed up, it's like, I didn't think Luffy lost. You know what I mean? So am I going to get moments like that where it's like, oh, like Luffy's like in the ground? Sure. The thing that I'm would be not I'm the thing that I would be surprised, shocked, excited to see is yes, Emu dominating, but dominating in the way where Luffy's like scared. Like he actually gets hurt. Like when Kaido fought him, slashes got him and all that stuff. But like there was a sense of like, oh my god, if I stood still, Kaido could actually kill me. Versus the Gorosei, Luffy was kind of like, do your worst. I'm fine. It kind of felt like that. And there were objectives that Luffy had to protect that he didn't need to, that like he personally wasn't worried about, but like he needed to protect. But in this scenario, it's kind of like, no, Luffy's pissed. So Luffy's going in this like bloodlusted. Loki's permanently bloodlusted. So it's like, does Emu put down a serious Luffy? I don't know. And that's where it's weird because like I feel like you're right in the sense of like Emu is seems like they're ready for a battle. It's kind of like Sommer's not gonna do shit. Killingham's not there. Emu's solo dolo. And it would be odd if Luffy just put Emu down. And then what? Emu buffs Gunko up and then puts Luffy down? Like, no, I feel like the more rational, more natural thing is like maybe they even clash. I don't know. And that would be insane for Emu to even clash Luffy and Loki. And then where I would be surprised is if it's not an even clash, and Luffy's like, "Ow," like, wait, what? What? How are you doing this? Um, oh man, that's hard to picture next chapter. That it is hard to picture.
See,
And
this
then the
is where I'm
alternative.
going right now. Whatever we imagine is
Uh-huh.
going to happen, the exact opposite is going to happen.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's where the alternative comes into play, and more of what Usopp says happens, and that's where we get the Damiroversi. Does Emu just straight up Damiroversi Loki? and then it's Loki
Oh,
versus Luffy.
that would be so goofy, man. Like, I think it's fine because, like, Hiruden could do it. Luffy could do it. Maybe that's Usopp's big moment. But I mean, then again, Chopper's here and he's one tapping Domi Reversey people. So I'd prefer no more Domi Reversey. I could see ways where it could work and be really nice. But, off rip, it's like Domi
Yeah,
Reversey feels like Isoni. Like, I just want to move on.
and remember God Valley? It was the six, right? Rocks, Garp, Roger. They were cooking Saturn, but like it didn't matter because they didn't know what to do. That's Conquer's hockey. That's the strongest people we know in the verse. Yeah, I know it's like not in their prime, but it's like prime, whatever. It's God Valley version of them. And it's like Emu just got out of it and then just grabbed rocks, said some words. Now we don't know if those words played a role in the thing, but Emu was Dami reversing rocks, and rocks was resisting, and then got flipped. Now the problem there was even though rocks was resisting, there was no way for him to have countered that. And that's what it hurts, right? Like it can't just be that Emu's fighting and then starts to like lose a little bit, in, even if it's in Gunko's body, and then just resorts to Loki and then flips him, and then now Emu's just like, yep, now I'm good. Loki, you go fight Luffy. And then it's like what? Like Loki can't break out of it, doesn't have voice of all things, they can't figure it out. No, but we've been seeing just straight up Dami Reversey being flipped. So it's like, is it that? And that's why I brought up the whole Holy Knight things. Like, does Emu just like mark Loki and then it's like they're stuck and then Emu hijacks his body? Like, I don't know. It's kind of crazy, but
That's when Nami screams out Lola's name and Loki's like, oh, you're right. I have something to fight for.
Oh no, that'd be crazy.
Yeah, I mean, hey,
That'd
Nami
be a crazy
knows about
pull.
Lola. She didn't say anything here. I think she's saving it for the end of Elbaf.
Dude, dude, you know what? To be fair, is that not what happened to Brooke? Or not Brooke, Gunko? Gunko said like a name essentially, and then Gunko snapped out of it. It's like, you're the princess or the
Princess
father
Shuri.
killing princesser. Yeah, something. Oh no, fratricidal princess. That's what it was, right? And so then Gunko breaks free. And so then
was
like
a cute
if
little
Loki's
nickname,
down
actually.
University and Nami goes, what happened?
I said it was a cute little nickname.
Yeah, it got alliteration. It was pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good, to be fair. And so do we get something like that? Loki's reversed. They can't do anything. Like Luffy doesn't have enough Conqueror's Haki to both stop Loki's Conqueror's Haki and flip him, which given the Herald situation could make sense that like even Luffy's Haki might not be enough. And so, to do both. And maybe we get a situation where Nami goes, are you sure Lola wants to see you like this? And he's like, Lola!
Or maybe Capone Beige, he's in the New World. Maybe he just shows up. And then she like literally pulls him back. Dude, imagine that.
Oh my. And then he hits us with the, Loki, I heard you want to be a big father. Well, let me show you.
Oh,
like,
God.
that's what his thing is, right?
Yeah, big father. Yeah.
Yeah. He hits us with that. That'd be kind of nuts if he shows Loki how to be a daddy. Damn.
Lola's
already
rubs
married.
it in.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I forgot about that.
Yeah,
part.
Gotti's the one who's married to Lola. Rest in peace, Loki. The one girl he actually liked just does not like him like that.
Yeah.
And Lola's willing to marry like 1,000 people, but Loki's like the one guy. She's like, nope, not him.
Hey, there's a world where Mosa could show up. We don't know who Mosa is.
I mean, people believe it's Shirahoshi. Do you? I forgot. Do you believe it's Shirahoshi or no?
I wouldn't be surprised. Like, I could see the correlation, connection, the names, whatever. But I also understand the part where it's like that could be a red herring type of thing. But like, Shirahoshi showing up wouldn't be insane, given like she was kind of set up like to be mobilized a little bit. But yeah, I don't know. Like, if Poseidon, an ancient weapon, were to show up, and we have Loki, and we have Luffy, like, I don't even know. Because, like, also Shirahoshi's super flippable. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh
wouldn't
yeah.
Imu just beeline to Shirahoshi and take her over?
I mean, she's
Because that
super
would
just
be,
vulnerable in general. Like, people are like, oh, Shirahoshi's really tough because she's Poseidon, she's the Sea King goddess. It's like, yes, but she doesn't know how to control that power, guys. Like realistically,
yeah,
if you just sneak attack her, you're fine, man. It's not like the Sea Kings are
yeah.
like right beside her 24/7. They're like in the waiting rooms. Like she almost
It
lost to
is,
Caribou.
yeah. No, she lost against Caribou. She would have been eaten
Yeah,
had Luffy
exactly.
not shown up. Yeah, so that's where it's interesting. I brought up the Mosa thing in jest, but at the same time, that was something Oda introduced. And if we're talking about ways to frazzle Loki, Mosa, Lola, those are probably good options to do so. Um, the question mark becomes of like, are we going down that path? Like, you know what I mean? Because we have to start there. Or can we flip Loki? Flipping Loki is insane because we're seeing when you flip him, the ground flips too. So like
We're flipping the
Loki's
entirety of
giant.
Elbaf.
Yeah, yeah. Does Elbaf just all flip? Like that, I don't even know if that makes sense. I mean, yeah, I guess they're on a tree and he's like a part of the tree, but still, it's kind of an
Maybe it's like
insane flip.
midair.
That would be cool. That would be cool. But yeah, I don't know what to really expect next chapter. I think next chapters, the following chapter will be easier to predict than next chapter because we don't know what Emu can do or is capable of in Gunko's body or in general. So like last time Emu showed up, she whipped out a book, whipped out a shotgun, and shot someone and brought out a new spell, Domi Reversi. So like, do we have more new things or do we have more old things? I want to see new things, but at the same time, will Oda reveal that much now? I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, I was
Yeah.
hoping to really get, come next chapter, maybe Joy Boy's real name. Like maybe Emu starts dropping some lore. That's what they're good for.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. That we did get that with the Davy clan a little bit with Rock. So maybe Loki and Emu have a conversation about Harold, maybe. That could be
Yeah.
something.
A little Herald convo.
Yeah.
Maybe Loki's like, hey, I felt this before. My dad had the same aura. And then Emu's like, oh, you're a fool of a father.
Yeah. Yeah. Damn. Damn. Loki would go feral. It might be flipped. Yeah, it might be that that's what it is. Like Emu hits Loki with a Herald line, then he becomes super vulnerable and then gets flipped
Two
to
people
Dami
getting
Reversi.
flipped
Because
because
that's
of
kind of what
Herald trash
happened.
talk would be so funny.
I mean, that's what happened with
Yeah,
Rocks, right?
exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like
Yeah.
that happening twice, hilarious, dude. Just Herald is
Yeah.
like a
Yeah.
sore spot.
And if you think about it, right? I'm not saying that Luffy can, but if Emu said something about Shanks,
That could work
then
too.
Luffy would be flippable. Yeah.
I mean, we still got to figure out like who Domi Reversi like affects and doesn't affect. But right now, like if it can flip Homeland, people or just people in general, yeah, this should be it right here.
Yeah. Emu hitting Luffy with a line of like, you know that Shanks is a celestial dragon. That would flip Luffy's world upside down on its own, you know?
Yeah, for a little bit. I feel like Luffy would also be like, yeah, but that's not Shanks, or I don't believe it, or something.
True.
Like, yeah, I don't
True, true,
care.
true.
Shanks is still Shanks. This kind of sounds like a Luffy thing. Maybe
Yeah.
I still want to see because I know we're gonna get it eventually. I want to see the originator of like the Monkey Clan. Because we got Davy Jones. I wonder if there's gonna be like a Monkey D something back in the past.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there should be. There should be. I do want to know if there's like disdain for Luffy like there was for Rocks in the Davy clan. Because I mean, the Garp handling, it's almost like Garp is beloved. He landed a hit on Emu and is still employed, getting this 401k. You know what I mean? He's
Still
getting the
chilling, man.
benefits. Yeah, like it's crazy. It's
Yeah.
crazy that that Garp is in the position that he's in, and God Valley happened the way it happened. So it does make you wonder what conversations. I think next chapter is going to be more conversation with like a little bit of fighting, and it's going to be kind of like Luffy gets through the bloodlust first, and then like conversations happen, um, and then maybe the buff because the tables need to be flipped, right? That's what Oda said. So we'll see how Oda flips that table.
Hopefully it's a good flipping. Hopefully it's a good flipping.
Yeah.
But with that being said, though, guys, let us know your thoughts on this chapter down below. Of course, thank you so much for watching this video all the way to the end. That is a Herculean task. I mean, 3 hours of content. I mean, well, almost 3 hours. But yeah, me and Parth, we talk for a long time. So, appreciate you guys for just stopping by, checking it out. And we'll catch you guys next week because there is no break. Peace out, guys.
Peace.